Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Friday, July 11th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ORION NWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Seattle Mariners versus the Detroit Tigers. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Friday, everyone. And on the thumb, on the left, the best catcher in the game, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And on the right, the best pitcher in the world right now since last year, Tarek Skubal. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Batting second, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. Batting third, DHing today for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Batting fifth, catching today for the Mariners, Mitch Garver. Batting sixth, playing second base, Jorge Polanco. Batting seventh, playing first base, Donovan Solano. Batting eighth, playing right field, Dylan Moore. And batting ninth, playing third base, Ben Williamson. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 5-5 record, an ERA of 3.31. It is La Piedra Luis Castillo. And now let's get into the starting lineups for the home Detroit Tigers. Leading off for the Tigers, DHing today, Colt Keith. Batting second, the former Yankee, second baseman, Gleyber Torres. Batting third, playing right field, Wenzel Perez. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, left fielder, Riley Green. Batting fifth, playing first base for the Tigers, Spencer Torkelson. Batting sixth, playing third base, Zach McKinstry. Batting seventh, catching today for Detroit, Dylan Dingler. Batting eighth, center fielder, Parker Meadows. And batting ninth, playing shortstop, Javier Baez. And on the mound for the Tigers, 10-2 record with an ERA of 2.02. He was the best pitcher in the game last year. He's the best pitcher in the game this year. There's no debates whatsoever. Tarek Skubal. All right, baby, let's go. We'll be shooting for 20 likes within the first hour, 50 at the halfway point, and we're going to be shooting for 100 likes and 100 on the Dono train. Drew in the building, what's good? Son of God in the building, what's good? Going to be a tough one. You know, yesterday's loss, again, I feel like that particular series, as far as umping is concerned, you could argue that might have been the worst officiated series that the Mariners have had all year. And again, it's the first time that we've actually lost a game on a strike three that would have ended the game. They called ball when it was in the square. Next pitch, you get a 2-run RBI. They tie the game. It goes into extras. We lose. So we haven't had an outcome like that. And obviously we had an epic meltdown. We always hope for epic meltdowns, by the mid relievers and the closers on the other team. But bottom line, Brash, Mooney, as well as Gabe Spire, they didn't get the job done. I was hoping Bizzardo would get a chance to pitch. He did not. And maybe that was the difference, by putting Gabe in over Bizzardo. But again, Brash gave up the 2-run jack to Giancarlo Stanton when he came to DH. Mooney had a meltdown. And, again, I think that, the Yankees are a very good team, so you got to give them all the credit. And it's tough now because now we're going against not only the best team in the American League, but arguably the best team in baseball today with the best pitcher on the mound. But the crazy thing is we played 3 times in Seattle, and we lost the first 2 games, but that last game, Skubal pitched and we won. So again, you never know, how matchups are going to play out, and hopefully we can set the tone early and often. And Julio Rodriguez, there was a lot of debate, should he have gotten the vote, from the fans for the All-Star nod? Was he deserving? There was definitely other guys, maybe Randy Arozarena, George Springer, and a few others that were more deserving. And Julio's going to rest his body, even though he got the invite, which is the smart decision. And Randy Arozarena, his teammate, ends up taking the nod, and he is invited to the All-Star game. So, I know Julio, has to work on some things, in the box, but I'm really happy to see Randy go to the game, even if he doesn't play that much. Pretty cool to be able to have 4 representatives, there in the matchup. All right, here we go. First pitch from Skubal to JP. Big swing and a miss. 0-1 count. 286 average, 7 home runs, 32 ribbies, OPS of 772. Oh, and it hits him. Wow. And we'll take that. JP Crawford gets plunked, and we'll take that, baby. And hopefully JP is okay. Back arm there got hit. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, Julio. And it looks like JP is okay. We don't want to have any fractured wrist or any type of bone bruises or any type of broken bones. So it looks like JP is okay for the moment. Dan in the building, Charles in the building, all day in the building. What's good? And if you can help me out with the likes and the donos all day until Captain comes through, I'd greatly appreciate it. 20 likes in the first hour, 50 overall at the halfway point, and we're shooting for 100 and 100. Top of the first inning, Apple TV Plus global broadcast. And then first pitch to Julio inside and almost hits him. 1-0 count. Let's go, Julio. One-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Skubal to Julio. And again, for Skubal to end up, plunking JP, that's not what anyone anticipated, but hopefully we can take advantage of him being a little off. And again, he doesn't lose often. And Julio, little dribbler and double play, and you get the force out at second. 1 away. Appreciate that all day. Next up is big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, baby. Fielder's choice. All right, let's go, Cal. Big swing and a miss on that first pitch to big dumper, Cal Raleigh, 0-1 count. And hopefully Cal will go yard, at least a couple times in this series. He's at home run number 36, and hopefully by the time this series is over, he'll be at 38. Obviously, 39 is the record by Bonds, but, he was on steroids, PEDs, and whatnot, so. And Raleigh grounds out into the double play, and that is the end of the inning. Not the most ideal start after JP getting plunked, but this is Skubal that we're talking about, the best pitcher in the game. All right, let's go to the bottom of the first, and we'll see who's up for the Tigers, and they are loaded. And they're, they were one of those teams that were kind of on the up and up, but again, they got a couple guys that might be in the running, for comeback player of the year. And it's nice to be able to see kind of the development of what we're seeing with this team. Leading off for the Tigers, DHing Colt Keith. Batting second, the former Yankee second baseman Gleyber Torres. And batting third, right fielder Wenzel Perez. And on the mound for the Mariners, had a nice game, the best game of the season in his last start with a 1-0 victory over the Pirates. But this is not a Pittsburgh Pirate team that we're looking at. It's the best team in baseball in the American League and arguably the best team in baseball overall right now in the Detroit Tigers. 5-5 record, 3.31 ERA. And I don't expect him to pitch as well as he did against the Pirates because they don't have the same type of hitters as the Tigers do. You know, Pirates don't really have anybody besides O'Neal Cruz and Brian Reynolds, and obviously the Tigers are loaded from 1 to 9. So we'll see how this goes, and hopefully we can keep it close. We want to be able to keep, Skubal, to a minimum. But again, we have to hope that we can hold them to 3 runs or less, and we need to go for 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. And in the previous series, when we played them in Seattle, it was kind of a mixed bag. In game 1, we were at home, and that was kind of towards the beginning of the season, the end of March. It was a 9-6 final. So Tigers put up a whole lot of runs. Game 2, 4-1 Tiger victory. And then in game 3, that was Skubal, and we actually kind of roughed him up a little bit, and we ended up winning that one in Seattle at T-Mobile 3-2. So again, Skubal does not lose, and he usually dominates. So again, are we going to get 1? Are we going to get 3? Or are we going to get 6? So again, that might be kind of a similar outing that we have here on the road at Comerica. So we'll see what we get. Hopefully we don't get the 1 today. I'm hoping we can get as close to 5 in every game as possible, but we will have to wait and see how it all plays out with the pitching, the bullpen, and obviously the power bats and the singles hitters doing their job. First pitch by Luis Castillo to Colt Keith, high and away, 1-0 count. And I know some people, don't enjoy, the Apple TV broadcast if they have to pay more money for it if you don't subscribe to it. But, they're the only network or broadcast, sponsor that actually uses 4K cameras on their broadcast. No other network uses those, and it looks damn pretty. 1-0 pitch, inside at the hips, 1 ball and 1 strike. To Colt Keith. 1-1 pitch. Fouls that one off. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Colt Keith. Let him know all day. 1-2 pitch. And got him. There we go. Nice punch out there by Luis Castillo. We'll take that, baby. Nice job. 1 away. Way to bring that electricity early to try to match Skubal's energy. Nice job. Next up, the former Yankee Gleyber Torres. Big swing and a miss. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Takes the strike looking high and away. No balls and 2 strikes to Gleyber Torres. 1-1 pitch, high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Castillo to Torres. I could see that final, Tony. That's very realistic. Hell, the Tigers might score more than 5. 1-2 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Castillo to Torres. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off with the sinker, 96 miles an hour by Castillo. Count still 2 balls, 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. What's good, brother? Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Got to be able to look past, what happened with that series with the Yankees, and we got to look forward. 2-2 pitch, fouled off, high and inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes from Castillo to Torres. Yeah, we've had some, pretty epic legendary icons, on the roster over the years, even though we're the only team to not make a World Series. But, I truly believe in the next 20 years, if they keep, building the farm and bringing in the right guys, there might be a chance, that we could smell a deep run at the postseason a few times. Three-two pitch, and that is a walk. Ball 4, and Torres goes to first. Next up for the Tigers, right fielder Wencel Perez. Let's go, Louise. Let's go, Ems. First pitch fouled off. 0-1 count. Bottom of the first with a runner at first and 1 out. Oh, 1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Behind in the count, 0-2 from Castillo to Perez. I mean, it's not like the Mariners have had like a bunch of years that have been great. 95, 97, 2001, 2022, and then possibly this year. So it's like in a 40-year period, we've only really had 4 or 5 like really, really good, memorable years. And there's also been some decent years mixed in between. But again, remember, we had a 20-plus year run without making the playoffs. There's not very many fan bases that are mentally strong like the Mariners. 1-2 pitch. Low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Castillo to Perez. Yeah, the 95 season definitely was a very memorable one. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off right down the middle. Count still remains 2 balls, 2 strikes here in the bottom of the first. Apple TV Plus global broadcast. I mean, the Tigers are great. I mean, again, it's like, I don't know if a lot of people saw the Tigers or the Cubs or the Giants, being as good as they are at this point. And again, at one point, we were one of the best teams in baseball early in the season, winning 9 consecutive series in a row, averaging about 6 runs a game. But then after that, we hit a big fucking wall and then averaged about 1 to 3 runs a game. And we're absolutely terrible for about a month and a half. And that's when the Astros started getting hot. Double play. 4-6-3 double play, baby. Let's go. Great defense there by the Mariners to get us out of that jam. Nice job. All right, let's go to the top of the second and see who's up next for the Mariners. Next up for the Mariners in the 4-hole, taking over for Julio Rodriguez in the 2025 All-Star game. I think that George Springer was more obviously deserving and more worthy. And I haven't heard if they ended up adding Springer. They've been doing a lot of people that have been injured or just don't want to play after getting voted in, and you're getting a lot of reserves within the last couple days. But I think Springer was the most deserving once the initial, votes came out, but they decided to swap Julio for Randy. And I think Randy was probably one of the top 3 or 4 that would have been worthy as a reserve. And exciting to be able to have 4 guys in. And if you really think about it, even though Randy isn't as popular as Julio, Randy has been the better player, at least offensively in the box. Defensively, it's by far Julio. We know Randy sometimes takes plays off in left field, and it doesn't seem like he's hustling all the time. But as far as his bat is concerned, he's been one of the hottest players in the box within the last month since June 11th. So nice to be able to see Randy get some recognition, and probably the best that he's felt since he was on the Tampa Bay Rays in 2020 when they went on that nice playoff run. Batting second, catching today, Mitch Garver. And batting third in the 6-hole, second baseman Jorge Polanco. Trident's up. Let's go, Ems. Oh, yeah. Edgar Martinez, Jay Buhner, Bones, Griffey. Randy Johnson, absolutely. And I obviously, have a lot of memories because, again, I met Ken Griffey Jr. when I was 7 years old, when he was a rookie, met Ken Griffey Sr. as well. And, there's nobody really in my area or my school, that had an experience like this. And obviously getting the rookie card signed, still having it to this day. Then 3 years later, when I'm 10, I get to meet my dad's hero, Sandy Koufax. So to be able to meet the best left-handed pitcher, not named Randy Johnson or Steve Carlton, playing in the Dodgers in the 50s and 60s, and then meeting Ken Griffey Jr., at 7, when you end up meeting, arguably the best, left-handed pitcher ever and the best left-handed hitter ever that didn't do steroids or PEDs, pretty fucking special, and it changes you for the rest of your life. 0-1 pitch, and Randy dribbles it. Throw to first. Easy out there. 1 away. Next up for the Mariners is Mitch Garver. And Tarek Skubal is an animal. 10-2 record, ERA of 2.02. Last year we saw Skeens and Sale try to compete on his level, but I think that he's been the best pitcher in the game for the last 2 years, and it won't really surprise me if he ends up being the best pitcher for many, many years. There's going to be others, that will be close, and really the only way I think Skubal isn't the best pitcher in the game is if he ends up getting hurt, and I hope that doesn't happen. I want to be able to see greatness, and again, to see greatness like him, being able to make a name for himself, it's awesome to see. And he's got some Pacific Northwest ties as well. So I always keep my eyes on guys that went to middle school in the Pacific Northwest, high school, college, if they have some kind of relationship to Oregon or Washington. And, Skubal is definitely very elite and special. 0-2 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Tarek Skubal to Mitch Garver. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mitch Garver. I'm feeling good. I'm always looking for a challenge. And, and again, I know that, it was tough. It was probably the toughest loss because we've never had a game decided by the ump. Where we had strike 3, it would have been game over. It was in the strike zone. It wasn't on the line. It wasn't outside. Was there a lot of bad calls, for the Yankees and the Mariners in that game? Yes. But not something so big where it's strike 3, game over, and they call it a ball. Next pitch ends up being a 2-run RBI. They tie the game. It goes into extras, and we lose based off that momentum. So I hope that will be the only time that we end up losing due to a bad call by an ump. But it's the first time that it's happened in a few years, and it definitely left a bad taste, in our mouths. We should have won that game, but you had a meltdown by Brash, a meltdown by Mooney. Probably should have brought in Bizzardo, but brought in Spire instead. And, you got to give it to them. They found a way to take advantage of our meltdown. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, high and inside. No balls and 2 strikes to Jorge Polanco. Let's go, Polo. Skubal on the mound, Jorge Polanco in the box. Top of the second with nobody on and 2 outs. 1-2 pitch, low and away. Change up 87 miles an hour by Tarek Skubal. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Skubal the Polo. I do think if Bizzardo came in instead of Spire at the very end in extras, I think it would have been different. I mean, we already were fighting, the bad call, and the momentum shifted completely to the Yankees, but I think that we would have had a better chance to find a way to win. And, because Gabe used to be, our second best guy after Brash in the pen, but he's been really inconsistent in 2025. He's either really, really good or really, really bad. There's not really an in-between. And Bizzardo used to be terrible last year, and now he's the second best guy in the pen behind Brash. So, can't make any excuses. The Yankees got the meltdown that they needed. The ump, helped them out, and, we just didn't do enough. And, again, this is going to be a challenging series, especially with Skubal here in game 1, but I like our chances. Again, we lost the first 2 games in T-Mobile in Seattle against the Tigers, and we won game 3 against Skubal. I don't know if a lot of Mariners fans remember, but I do. So, again, It's not impossible to beat Screwball, but, again, you're going to have the bats come alive at some point. Pitch fouled off again. 3 consecutive foul balls by Polo. He's grinding here. Top of the second inning, 0-0, Mariners and Tigers. Apple TV Plus global broadcast. And I'm looking for, hopefully, a good RBI or home run early. And there we go. Polo with a little slapper. Nice job, Jorge Polanco. That's how you grind out an at-bat, and you can slap it right into left field in between the gap. Nice job. Attaboy, Polo. Next up, Donovan Solano. Let's go, Don. Yeah, it looks like they were tipping off the pitches as well. So the Yankees actually knew what pitches were coming to the batters. Stealing some signs and figuring out some of the, calls there. And Mariners are going to have to make some adjustments, with some of that, based on Cal's posture, catching, and also any of the signs that possibly might get stolen by the other team and whatnot. But, you got to give them credit. They earned the victory yesterday, even though that strike 3 should have been in our favor. I've never seen a call so bad that would have ended the game that they just let it continue. Don't know if that ump has DraftKings, but definitely was a little sketchy. 1-0 pitch, fouls that one off, high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first and 2 outs. 0-0 here with the Mariners and the Tigers. Oh yeah, I'm always going to be checking out what's going on in the division. Rangers and Stros, Angels and the Athletics, and any other good matchup, regardless if it's American League or National League. I'm following the entire league top to bottom. So pitch fouled off right down the middle by Solano. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. And even if we find a way to win this game like 2-1 or 3-2, and it ends up being a little lower scoring, we'll take it. We just need something positive after those 3 games against the Yankees, and they got the brooms on us. It doesn't feel good when you get swept, and I don't care if it's by, anybody, high-end team or a low-end team. Oh, here we go. Solano, go, go, go. And a botched play there in center field. Go, go, go. Hell yeah, Solano with a triple. You had a diving grab there in center field that was missed, and that was fucking incredible. Wow. Parker Meadows, they went for the diving catch, and he puts his glove out, misses it. Then the ball goes behind him all the way to the wall, and Donovan Solano, we know he's not fast, ends up getting a triple out of it, and it's an easy 1-0 lead, and we'll take that. And popped up, and that is out number 3. And again, we don't expect a whole lot out of Dylan Moore, but we'll end up taking an error, early on. And I don't think they're going to give him an error on that particular play. But we'll see if they end up reviewing it and giving him one. But man, anytime you can take advantage, of Screwball, early and often, and maybe have a little bit of luck. And again, I've talked to a lot of my friends here in Oregon and Washington, and I think I'm the only one that was kind of confident, even though this is the best team in baseball, best pitcher, I feel that sometimes, the Mariners, they play in the most chaotic ways where most teams would lose 100% against Screwball. Sometimes, when we end up getting, kind of the raw end of the stick, like we did against the Yankees, sometimes the sports gods will look down, based on what happened, and sometimes give us a little bit of a miracle and, give us a little bit more strength and a little bit more, swagger and aura in a matchup where no one gives us a chance. And, it doesn't say that we're going to win, getting the first run, but it obviously is a good start. Screwball plunking JP, And obviously we didn't get him to come home, but he's not, as fluid as he normally is to start a game. And again, I don't want to say the Mariners have his number, but we definitely know how to play him compared to a lot of other teams. And so far, we'll take that 1-0 lead. Let's go. Trident's up. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 20 likes within the first hour, 50 at the halfway point, and we're shooting for 100 likes and 100 on the Dono train. Well, also, the pen has been used a lot. Bizzardo's got the third most innings out of any relief pitcher in the American League. And, for a guy that was one of the worst on the team, with Sauce, and then, Sauce got called up for Carlos Vargas, but I think he's having a kid. So we're probably going to see Vargas coming back up shortly, but Bizzardo is probably the most improved player overall on the team compared to where he was the last couple years and what he's been able to do. But, we should have played him over Spire yesterday, in my opinion, or even earlier than that. Maybe put Bizzardo in first, then Brash, then Munoz, or put in Bizzardo for Gabe at the end. But, too late now. All right, here we go. Bottom of the second, we got Riley Green, who's actually having a fantastic season. Nice to be able to see, a player being able to go off. 279 average, 22 homers, 72 ribbies, and he's actually proven that he's one of the best power hitters in the game now. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Luis Castillo to Riley Green. And again, Riley is so consistent. And you got guys, a few of them that might be in the running for comeback player of the year in Torkelson and Baez. And Green singles the center right in front of Julio. Again, I got to give credit where credit's due. When guys are great, you want to make sure you let them know. No bias, no hating. Next up, a guy that's been able to turn his career around, so to speak. First baseman Spencer Torkelson. He's gone through the ringer. Ended up being a very high draft pick. Lots of expectations. Ended up going on a big slump. Got sent down to AAA. And then now, obviously, in 2025, it's starting to look like he's starting to kind of figure things out now. Now, obviously, batting average could be a little bit better. It's still in the 230s, 240s. But I would assume if he gets hot, he'll be able to get that to the 260 to 280 range after the All-Star break if he continues to be able to feed off the others in the lineup. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to Spencer Torkelson. Let's go, Castillo. Yeah, but unfortunately, it's not going to be for a long period of time for Vargas. It'd be nice if we just sent him down to AAA and kept him there, but this looks like it's only going to be for a little bit, just a few days. And Taylor Saucedo is fucking terrible. He's another lefty. We only have Gabe, but definitely not a trustworthy guy. So it's like, imagine Vargas and the left-handed version of him. That's what Sauce is. Not good. Pitch is high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Spencer Torkelson. 2-2 pitch. High and at the hips. Sinker missing the strike zone there. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and no outs. Apple TV Plus global broadcast. 1-0 Mariner lead off a Solano triple to right. And you ended up having a diving grab attempt that ended up hitting right in front of the player, goes all the way back to the wall, and Polo scores to give us the early 1-0 lead for Seattle. Dr. Rish in the building. What's good? 3-2 pitch, and there is the slow dribbler. Give me the double play. Throw to second, throw to first. Got him. There we go. Nice double play. Good defense there by the Mariners. If we're going to hit into some double plays, we need to be able to get some in return as well. Nice job by J.P. Crawford. A very undervalued and a very good, solid player for the Mariners. Next up, third baseman in the 6-hole, Zach McKinstry. Oh, if the Mariners win, I don't know. I mean, like I said, in the ways that the Mariners play this team, it's 3 ways where it's like we score 1, we score 3, or we score like 5 or 6. That's typically how, we go. And we ended up beating Scooball in the last game lost the first 2 games and then played Skubal and actually won somehow in fucking Seattle. And it was only 3-2. So I could see something like that. I mean, I hope we get a few home runs, and we can open up the game a little bit more. I would like to be able to see maybe like a decent pitching game by both guys, Castillo and Skubal, but still after maybe those guys go out, we get to like a 4-3 or 4-2 kind of score or 5-4, but I'm not sure if you're going to get that with Skubal. It might end up being like a 3-2 kind of game. And flip to first. Castillo taps the bag, and that is out number 3. There we go. End of the second inning. 1-0 Mariners, and they're not giving the Tigers an error on that attempt there in center field off the Solano hit. So, all right, let's see who's up next here for the Seattle Mariners in the top. Next up for the Mariners in the 9-hole, third baseman Ben Williamson. Batting second, J.P. Crawford. First at bat, he got plunked, so we'll see what he does here. Maybe he'll bunt. And batting third, 0 for 1, Julio Rodriguez, who got voted in by the All-Star game by the fans, but declined and decided to be able to work on his body and rest up. And they gave Randy Arozarena the invite, which is pretty cool. So now we end up having Cal Raleigh starting at catcher, right? And we have Brian Wu, our ace, our number 1 pitcher, went with a no-hitter all the way to the 8th inning. So it's kind of shitty that we ended up losing that game when we were up by so much. But, meltdowns do happen, by both teams, the Mariners and the opponents. And obviously Mooney making the All-Star game, even though he looked terrible yesterday. Let's be real. And then Randy Arozarena instead of Julio. And again, I think George Springer is probably the most deserving in the American League that didn't get in. And then probably Seiya Suzuki for the Cubs. It was criminal, for a guy to have, like 24 home runs and almost 80 ribbies and doesn't even make it. But again, we know there's so many good players in MLB. But there should be a few others, that were added to the list. And again, a lot of guys are injured or wanting to rest their bodies. So we are going to be seeing a lot of reserves, like Randy, get the invite within the next few days. And it's already been happening for the last couple days. Skubal on the mound, wheeling and dealing, but we have a 1-0 lead. And again, I might be the only one on planet Earth that likes our chances against Skubal, but again, I'm built a little bit different. I watch a lot of games, and again, Skubal is a guy where, again, it's not like you're going to bet against him, but for whatever reason, the Mariners match up to him pretty well. And he's got Pacific Northwest ties. Maybe, something in his head about that too. So, I know this matchup against Seattle is very special to him. So. Apple TV Plus broadcast is awesome. I mean, if you don't have the money to buy Apple TV Plus, if you don't have it in the budget, I know with T-Mobile, you can get Netflix and Apple TV Plus for free if you have T-Mobile. So I don't know if you have T-Mobile, but you just go to the app and then unlock it based off your plan and you can get it for free. But I like Apple TV Plus broadcast because you get to use the 4K cameras. They're the only network that uses 4K cameras. So even if you don't have a 4K TV, the broadcast will look like 4K even on a high def TV. So yeah, I think Skubal is. I think Skubal is the best pitcher in the game. Now, Skeens, if he was on the Tigers and had run support, his record would be probably identical to Skubal. He would be 10-2 or, something of that nature. It'd be just as dominant. But I think Skubal, and the ERAs are both going to be right under 1 or right there on the 2 level. They're both like right there neck and neck. But if I had to choose one, I'm going Skubal 1. And then I think Skeens is definitely one of the best pitchers in the game, but I think Skubal to me is the best. And I feel bad for Skeens. I wish he did have some run support. It's just terrible. It's like in the last 14 starts with an ERA of like under 2, he's got like 1 win, so it's like he's not really getting a whole lot of opportunities to be able to win games. But again, if you don't really have anybody that can fucking hit, that's tough. Little dribbler, throw to first, and got him. Ben Williamson grounds out to the shortstop, 1 away. Hannah in the building, what's good? so far so good here. We were able to get a run on Scooball, and again, I might be the only one on planet Earth as far as a Mariner fan that actually thinks that we have a chance to win this game. But again, we won, against Scooball in Seattle early in the year, and I think that's kind of what it is. Most Seattle fans don't remember what happened early in the year. So first pitch, high and away to JP Crawford with the sinker, 1-0 count. Yeah, and it's always about, playing up to the competition. The Mariners will always do good there, even if we lose. We'll play up to the competition. Doesn't mean that we won't get our ass kicked in one game in the series, but we'll play better than if we were going to be playing like the Marlins or the White Sox. When you play down to the competition, that's a thing that every team kind of goes through. And, you get punched in the mouth early by a shitty team. Sometimes you don't come back. 3-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking there, low and inside. Sinker hits that line. 3 balls and 1 strike to JP Crawford. Absolutely, we should get Gino back. I mean, we need a little bit more power hitting from a position that normally has power hitting third baseman. We need some depth at first base behind Solano. We need some more depth besides Mastroboni and Williamson at third. And we definitely could use another right fielder that could hit home runs and defend, and probably 2 or 3 relief pitchers so we can get rid of some of the shitty ones that we have. And, as if you're a Mariner fan or you've been following them, we got quite a few guys in the pen that are shitty. Brash is good, even though he had a meltdown yesterday. Bizzardo is good. Brash, Gabe Spire, obviously is streaky, but he's probably third best. And obviously Mooney is an amazing closer, all-star closer, but he had a meltdown as well. But other than those 4, I don't really trust anybody else. Snyder, Legomina, Thornton, Vargas. Hopefully we get a few guys that are a little bit better. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. Sarah in the building. What's good? All right, we're at 25, so we hit the 20 within the first hour. Nice job all day. 25 more to get to 50, and we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. And as soon as I say that, Sarah takes care of that. We're at 5:95 to go. 1-1 pitch, and that's a big swing and a miss, low and inside by Julio. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Tarek Scooball to Julio Rodriguez. Appreciate you, Sarah. Let me know what cardinal you want, and I got you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks with a little Cactus Jack. We're at 5:95 to go. Thank you so much. And let me know what you want to do Cardinals-wise, and I got you. 1-2 pitch, high and inside. 4-seam fastball, missing the zone by a foot. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. I mean, I think Skeens and Scooball are there. I mean, I think Scooball is the best lefty, and I think Skeens is arguably one of the best righties, in the game. So I think those are the 2 best, or the 2 guys that I like watching the most that aren't on the Mariners. And big swing and a miss. Down goes Julio on swings, which is no surprise for us fans here in Seattle or anywhere that you're watching this game. But we'll see if Julio can get at least a hit before the game is over. Next up, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. 0 for 1. Let's make it 1 for 2. Let's go, Cal. We'll take singles. We'll take doubles. But we're looking for this right here. Home run number 37 and possibly 38 before the series is up. Let's go, Cal. Yeah. Well, it's, I'm not really sure if it's a classy thing. I think it's more of, he knows that maybe there was a few other guys that were more deserving. And, if he gives him a chance to spend time with family and not have all these extra pressures and eyeballs on him, maybe this will give him a little bit of a mini, vacay, where he can, rest up the body and be a little bit better, after the All-Star break, instead of being still a little tight and a little edgy and whatnot. But, the fans voted him in, but, realistically, Randy was probably more deserving, but George Springer was probably the most deserving. And, I haven't heard if Springer has got in as an alternate, but hopefully he will if he hasn't yet. Big swing and a miss by Big Dumper. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Big Dumper Cal Raleigh. Yeah, starting pitching, But we also have been injured, this year. So, Rish, you know that. I mean, again, like how many teams could survive with 3 of their starting 5 injured? Logan Gilbert, normally a top 10 pitcher when he's healthy. George Kirby, usually a top 20 or top 25 pitcher when healthy, sometimes in that top 15 range when he's on. And then Bryce Miller, he's been injured for a good chunk of this first half. So luckily we had Brian Wu. Castillo did pretty good. Emerson Hancock tried his best, and Logan Evans was, more times good than not. But, think about every other team in baseball. If they lost 3 of their top 5 for a majority of the first half of the season, would those teams be above 500? Probably not. So again, it hasn't really been a prototypical normal year. But again, we have seen the bats improve. We're not the number 1 strikeout team anymore. We're not batting 180 to 220 as a team anymore. So we've made a lot of improvements, hitting wise. But again, it's about getting starting pitching, the bullpen, singles hitting, power hitting, and also good managing. And it's not really easy to get, all those checks, on the board at the same time. But so far, so good. 1-0 here in the bottom of the third. Let's see who's up next here for the Tigers. Next up for the Tigers, 7-hole hitter catcher Dylan Dingler. Batting second, center fielder Parker Meadows. And batting third, shortstop Javier Baez. Now let's get some Brendan Donovan here real quick. See Megan with a 20. Or with a 10, excuse me. Appreciate you. I'm flipping back and forth with screens here. Shout out to Sarah and Megan for getting the Dono train started. Cardinals playing a little bit better baseball than most people anticipated, coming into the year. Obviously still going to be a battle with the Cubs and, the Brewers and a few others. But, I mean, anytime you can be above 500, I think anyone will take that, even if it's only a couple games above 500. I mean, we're right there with you. Appreciate you. A little Brendan Donovan love. Megan with a tenor. Yeah, it was crazy. In that particular game, though, there was a strike 3 that wasn't called that would have ended the game. So, we definitely had a meltdown, with the pitching at the end, but that's the first time that I've ever seen a game end, or should have ended that didn't, on a bad call. And it wasn't one of those things where it was close or maybe it was a ball, maybe it was a strike. I mean, it was clearly game over, strike 3. They called it ball. Then they ended up hitting a 2-run RBI to tie the game the next pitch, and then they won it in extras. So we already know how good the Yankees are. They definitely dominated in the first 2 games, but that last game was ours. And, again, that's the first time that I've seen us lose a game based off a bad call at the end of the game. It's not something that happens often, and hopefully that'll be the only time that happens. As Dingler on a 1-2 pitch from Castillo incoming and got him. There we go. Down goes Dingler on strikes. Nice job by Luis Castillo. Bring that energy, baby. Nice job, Luis. 1 away. Next up, center fielder in the 8-hole, Parker Meadows. But again, I think out of all the games that I've watched, I mean, obviously umping, it definitely is not easy to do. And that might have been one of the worst officiated series that we've seen. First pitch and Meadows singles to right. I mean, there was bad calls for the Mariners, bad calls, for the Yankees as well. But in that last game, game number 3, it felt like it was 90-10 Yankees. They weren't really giving us the calls. And they were giving, quite a few more, especially at the end of the game when the game is on the line. So, Flying Monk in the building. What's good? Bottom of the third on Apple TV Plus, global broadcast, runner at first. First pitch from Castillo to Javier Baez. Takes a strike swinging, big swing and a miss, 0-1 count. And let me know what you want to do for a photo or two, Megan, and I got you when I can squeeze it in during one of these commercial breaks. Baez in the box, Castillo on the mound. Foul back. No balls and 2 strikes from Castillo to Javier Baez. And again, they do have a couple of players that are going to be in the running for comeback player of the year with Baez and Spencer Torkelson. But this team is absolutely loaded. Riley Green is one of the best power hitters now in the game. And there's a reason why the Tigers are the best team in the American League and arguably one of the best in baseball today. 0-2 pitch, and Baez flies out to the shortstop as JP and Randy bump into each other, but they hang on for out number 2. Nice job, JP. Next up, DHing Colt Keith. And Keith in play, flies out to left for out number 3. End of the third inning, 1-0 Mariners. Let's go, baby. So we drop a couple Giancarlos for Megan. Appreciate you. And it shows you that, you know, even as a guy that's a little older, that's kind of towards the end of his career, even if he ends up sitting on the bench for 2.5 hours and they have him come in late, all it takes is one swing by a guy like Judge or Stanton to change the outcome of a game. And Giancarlo may not be the same player as he was, you know, in years past, but, you know, still can beat a team with one swing. And he was definitely able to do that against the Mariners a couple times in that series, game 1 and game 3. Big homers from him. All right, let's see who's up next here in the top of the 4th for the Seattle Mariners. Let's go. Next up for the Mariners, 0-for-1, getting the All-Star nod as a reserve since Julio is backing out. Randy Arozarena, 0-for-1. Let's get a homer. Bay. Batting second, 0-for-1 with a K, catcher Mitch Garver. And batting third, 1-for-1 with a run, a guy that's been heating up with Randy, Jorge Polanco. I saw that with your post that you sent. Pretty cool that he ends up going to a solid, you know, organization. And obviously we are going to miss, you know, having him being a part of the Kraken, but definitely a good place for him to, you know, fall as an assistant coach. You know, congrats to him for, you know, being able to join a team with that kind of rich history. I'm trying to think of anything else new that has dropped or anything new. Oh, the new Dexter Resurrection on, you know, Hulu and on the Showtime add-on, and ended up dropping early this morning, and they ended up having 2 episodes in the premiere. Highly recommend watching Dexter Resurrection if you're a fan of the Dexter series. I watched both episodes early today, no spoilers, but it's definitely worth watching. 1-0 pitch from Screwball to Randy, high and away with the changeup, 2 balls and no strikes to Randy Arozarena. All right, baby, let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We have at least half of the people in the room that haven't done it yet, and help us be able to get to the algorithm from YouTube, which would be greatly appreciated. And right now we're at, 15 on the Dono train, 85 to go. Yeah, I haven't got a chance to watch. I might be one of the very few people, that haven't got a chance to watch Squid Game 1, 2, 3. But at some point, when I have some extra time, I'm definitely going to watch. But, I've been trying to go through some other shows and trying to kind of clean up some of the other stuff that I got in my queues. So 2-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking at the hips, high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. Let's go, Randy. Screwball on the mound. Randy Arozarena in the box. 2-1 pitch, and that one is fouled back. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. Two pitch in play and flied out to right. 2 away. Next up for the Mariners, catcher 0 for 1 with a K, Mitch Garver. Absolutely, Jeremy. And again, Julio taking care of his body is definitely going to be better for him, as far as hopefully the second half of the season, instead of having all the extra eyeballs on him and all that extra pressure, and he's not in the home run derby. I was thinking maybe that would have been one of the reasons, but they typically don't like having more than one person from one team in the derby. And obviously we already have Cal in there. So 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees with the slider that misses by Screwball. 2 balls and no strikes from Screwball to Mitch Garver. Early 1-0 lead off a fielding error from center field from the Tigers. Polo scoring, from first or second base at that moment. And, again, we'll take anything that we can get from Donovan Solano. And that particular play ended up being a triple for Solano. And we have a early 1-0 lead. Two-one pitch. Big swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mitch Garver. But it's cool that we got 4 guys, that are going to be going. Randy and Mooney, Cal, and Wu. Oh my God. 2-2 pitch from Screwball. Big swing and a miss. Nice punch out by the best pitcher in the game, Tarek Screwball. I see you, baby. And he's my favorite pitcher to watch, that's not on the Mariners. I love me some lefties. And again, we've had Koufax, we've had the big unit, Randy Johnson, we've had Steve Carlton, and now we have Sale and we have Screwball. And it's nice to be able to see some dominant lefties. And obviously for righties, we have Skeens. So on top of all the other amazing pitchers that are out there. First pitch from Screwball to Polo, fouls that one back, 0-1 count. Let's go, Polo. But it definitely is, feeling like it could be a 2-1 or 3-2 kind of game. And if it ends up being that, I'll take that. 0-1 pitch popped up, and that should be out number 3. And the catcher is there, and that is out number 3. Let's go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Seattle with a 1-0 lead. All right, we need 4 more likes to be able to get to 40. We have at least 35 people in the room, half that haven't hit that like button. It takes 1 second, regardless if you're watching from the United States or one of the many, many countries that watches this channel. Again, if you don't feel like commenting in the chat and you just want to be an observer and watch, again, there's many things that you can do to be able to help this channel grow. Liking the channel, sharing the channel, donating to the channel, subbing to the channel, commenting in the channel. But anything that you do in a positive manner will help us grow. And again, we only need a few more to be able to get to 40. We're trying to hit 100 and 100. So again, and it definitely will help us moving forward. And we've been gaining a lot of subs, about 5 to 15 daily. So shout out to all the new subs that we've acquired, not only in 2025, but even the OGs from back in the day. I appreciate you very, very much. And just to give you a quick update, we have 3,800 regular viewers. It's going up about 50 to 100 viewers every single day that are returning regular viewers. 3,800. At the beginning of the season, we were at 1,000 to 1,500. So we've been definitely making a lot of ground. Female viewership is up to 12%. And again, we have the United States typically around that 70% mark. Venezuela, 4.4. Mexico, 3.1. Dominican Republic, 2.7. If you're watching from those countries, shout out to you. Philippines, Canada, Nicaragua, Japan, Panama, Colombia, Australia, New Zealand, and many, many other countries. Shout out to all of you that are participating and supporting the NWSF. Appreciate you guys very, very much. Next up here in the bottom of the fourth is Gleyber Torres. On deck, Wenzel Perez, and batting third, left fielder, hitting extraordinaire, Riley Green. All right, take care. Appreciate the support. First pitch from Castillo to Torres, high and away, 1-0 count. And this is a good performance from Luis Castillo. Again, he had his best start of the year against the Pirates when we won 1-0. So again, the momentum and that Uncle Mo has been carrying over so far, but we have to kind of wait until he gets closer to the 5th or 6th inning, because usually that's when the fatigue kicks in and he'll give up a couple home runs or some RBIs. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen here, but we'll find out. 3-0 pitch. Takes a strike swinging there. Big swing and a miss. 3 balls and 1 strike to Gleyber Torres. Three-one pitch. Big swing and a miss. High and inside. Beautiful pitch by Castillo. La Piedra is wheeling and dealing, baby. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Gleyber Torres. I mean, anytime you can get a 3-0 count to go back into your favor, 3-2, huge. And hopefully we can avoid the walk and we can get the punch out looking, swinging, popped up, or grounded out. But again, it may be a walk here. 3-2 pitch. And Torres does not bite, and that's a walk. Very, very close, right on the line. Could have went either way. Next up here for the Tigers, right fielder Wenzel Perez. Let's go, baby. First pitch, high and away to Perez, 1-0 count. One-zero pitch, fouled off, right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike from Castillo to Wenzel Perez. Yeah, we need a double play here or a strikeout or pop up ground out, and then the next batter we get the double play. Sometimes you don't get the double play initially right after the walk. Sometimes you have to get the strikeout first and then have 1 away and then get the double play to end the inning. And we'll see which one we get here. And Perez with the base knock into right field. Uh-oh. And now we got runners at first and second with no outs. And usually that's a sign where the fatigue might be kicking in, and we're going to have to be very, very careful. We only have a 1-0 lead. And again, we don't want to give up the lead, let alone be down by a few runs after this inning is over. Next up is Riley Green, who's their best power hitter on the team and has come a long ways. Last thing that we need is a 3-run bomb to make it 3-1. First pitch from Castillo to Green. Low and away with the changeup. Should have been called strike, but called ball by the ump. It's like I'm watching the Yankee series all over again. One-oh pitch, big swing and a miss by Riley Green. 1 ball and 1 strike from Castillo to Green. 1-1 pitch, fouled off. Nice souvenir for that fan there. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Castillo to Green. And Castillo is at 53 pitches, 33 strikes. Scooball's at 59, 37 strikes. So they're really even right now, except Scooball has got 4 Ks, Castillo with only 2, but we got the 1-0 lead. And again, Castillo had his best start of the year on his last start against the Pirates at T-Mobile. So definitely it's carrying over here today, but he's in a little bit of a jam here now. First time of the day, runners at first and second and no outs. And usually that's the warning sign that you may have to try to pull a guy, but unfortunately the Mariners don't have enough guys in the pen, that we could bring in early. And Green flies out to left. There we go. And that's exactly what we needed there. Randy Arozarena says, I got it. 1 away. Next up, first baseman in the 5-hole, 0-for-1, Spencer Torkelson. Let's go, Castillo. Let's go, La Piedra. Get out of this jam, baby. Now we got runners at first and second with 1 out. And usually getting a double play is easier when you just have a runner at first, so you can toe tap the bag or flip it to second and then throw it to first. But it is possible to get a double play off first and second. You got to get that ball hit in between second and third base and be very quick to be able to flip it to second and go to first. We'll see if we can get the double here against Spencer Torkelson. First pitch to Torkelson, big swing and a miss, 0-1 count. Actually, he got a little bit of that one. He fouled that one off. 0-1 count. Yeah, I think a lot of Tiger fans don't really enjoy the City Connect. For the Tigers, they are kind of an oddball color, for the Motor City there. But I mean, not every City Connect or alternate, uniform is going to be a fan favorite. So foul that one back again, Randy, but that one bounces off into the 10th row, goes back to the 20th row. Wow, Torkelson's got the most 2-strike homers than anybody but Shohei Ohtani this year. That's amazing. 0-2 pitch, but he doesn't homer here. Big swing and a miss. La Piedra got him. Nice job, Louise. Way to bring that electricity. 2 away. Let's go. Let's get out of this jam, baby. Nice job by Castillo. Next up, in the 6-hole, 0-for-1, Zach McKinstry. Let's go, La Piedra. This is what I like to see. Runners at first and second, no fucking problem. Now we just need 1 more out, and now it's back in Louise's control. Let's get it. First pitch from La Piedra to Zach McKinstry, low and at the knees with the changeup. 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, foul back by Zach McKinstry. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Bottom of the 4th, it's been a pitcher's duel. Scooball and Castillo going at it. And again, if Castillo pitches like he normally does, this game could possibly already be over. But luckily, he had his best start of the year against the Pirates, winning 1-0. And you can definitely tell that confidence has carried over here on the road against the Motor City, the Detroit Tigers. Kind of feels like it might be like a 3-2 kind of game, but hopefully we're the team with 3 at the end after getting swept by the Yankees. So we desperately need a win. And we lost the first 2 games against the Tigers in Seattle at the beginning of the year. But believe it or not, in game number 3, Skubal pitched and we beat them 3-2. So it's kind of lining up for something like that happening possibly again. Two-one pitch. And takes a strike looking on the corner, paints that corner beautifully with the four-seam fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Castillo to McKinstry. Let's go, Louise. Keep wheeling and dealing, baby. Two-two pitch. That one is fouled back. 2 balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. It was runners at first and second with no outs. And Louise finding a way to battle, and I love it. Two-two pitch. Big swing and a miss, and that is strike 3, baby. We get out of the inning. Let's go. Way to get out of the jam. That was fucking beautiful. And a lot of times for the Mariner, pitchers, if they end up having runners at first and second and third with no outs, we're fucked. Typically, we're screwed. And they're going to score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs. But defense found a way, as well as La Piedra, to be able to go from runners at first and second with no outs and getting 3 consecutive batters out. Nice job, Luis Castillo. Beautiful. All right, let's go to the top of the 5th inning with the Mariners surprisingly up 1-0. But again, I might be the only Mariner fan that thought we actually had a chance today. After losing, in a rough way to the Yankees and getting swept. Obviously, morale is a little low for some of the fan base. But again, I always like challenges against really good teams. It brings out the best in us. And so far, we're playing toe-to-toe with arguably the best team in baseball in the American League and arguably the best team in baseball right now in the American or National, the Detroit Tigers. They're very, very good. All right, baby, let's go. Nice job by Luis, baby. Let's go over some stats here real quick. All right, Luis Castillo, 3.2 innings pitched. Now, obviously, 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks, 64 pitches, 41 strikes. ERA is now down to 3.20. I love it. And then let's go with Skubal. Take a look on what he's got so far. 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 4 Ks, 59 pitches, 37 strikes, 2.03 ERA. So wow, and they say it was a fouled off? You got to be kidding me. And then the next pitch, then he gets a hit, and then they get the RBI. Unbelievable. What's going on with the ump now? I thought that was already the end of the inning, and then they reviewed it and said that, wow, unbelievable. What are the chances the Mariners have this type of luck with the ump? 2 games in a row? You kidding me? Unfucking believable. And that always happens after a controversial, maybe call. It's always the next pitch that ends up being the damaging pitch that ends up being a home run or an RBI. And it ends up being that right there. Now the game is tied up 1-1. Unfucking believable. Unbelievable. I don't know about you, McKinstry. Someone needs to take a look at these umps, man. And we definitely need the ABS. We need some robots and whatnot. I don't know about a foul tip. Behind the plate, it was called strike 3. It should have been strike 3. Terrible. And now we have Dylan Dingler. I mean, how are you going to have the ump behind the plate call strike 3 and then change? Unbelievable. And now McKinstry steals a bag. And now we got runners at second and third with 2 outs. Unbelievable. They called it strike 3 with the ump behind the plate, and then they decided that he actually got a foul tip, and now Dingler gets hit by a pitch. Now all of the momentum that we had with Castillo is gone, and now we might need to pull him. If we don't pull him now, the game might end up being 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, and this is going to be a very critical point of the game. Brutal. Come on, Supa. We don't need that. We don't need that bad juju in the stream. Grand Salami, come on. We need to get out. Next up is Parker Meadows. But Parker is a guy that can hit a grand slam. But we don't need to have that in the chat or vocalize it. We don't want it to come true. I don't want to be down fucking 5-1. If we end up being down 5-1, the game's over. I want to have this be competitive all the way to the end. 0-1 pitch, low and in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike from Castillo to Meadows. One pitch, low and at the knees to Parker Meadows. 2 balls and 1 strike with bases loaded and 2 outs. Should have been strike 3. The ump behind the plate called strike 3, and then they all of a sudden turn the call to saying he got a foul tip on it. Next pitch, they get an RBI, tie the game up, and instead of being in the top of the 5th inning, the inning is still continuing here in the bottom of the 4th. I mean, I get it. You know, it's like, you know, the Mariners are getting picked on here, but this is a little ridiculous. I mean, that Yankee series was probably the most worst officiated series possibly of the year for the Mariners. Not only that last game 3, but game 1 and game 2 was very sketch. And now we get another sketchy ump call here. And finally, we get out of the inning, but not after the damage is done. Now they say we're at the end of the 4th inning, but not after Castillo gave up an RBI. But at least we don't give up the grand salami. Supa didn't get it right. We don't get the grand salami. We get the punch out by Castillo, but a little too late at this point, and now momentum is shifted to the Tigers. But at least now we still are tied and not down. I guess that's the one bright side of it there. All right, next up for the Mariners, 1-for-1 with an RBI. First baseman Donovan Solano, first at bat with a triple after the center fielder Parker Meadows dove for the baseball and missed, and it went all the way back to the wall. Solano hustled in for a triple, brought in Polo to give us a 1-0 lead, and then McKinstry singled to right after a strike 3 call. Torres scored, and now we're tied up at 1. Batting second, 0-for-1, Demo Dylan Moore, and batting third, 0-for-1, third baseman Ben Williamson. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Seriously, you know, like we always have like these weird things that only happen to us. You know, like I said, it's one thing if like the ump, ended up calling it one thing and, you know, like a ball, and then there's like a review and, you know, you're going through it. But when you call strike 3 and then everyone's like going to the dugout and it's the end of the inning, and then how do you reverse a strike 3 if it's the home plate ump was the one that made the call? Like, unbelievable. You know, again, it gave him a freebie to tie the game up, but you know, we definitely need the APS system in here, you know, with a little bit of robot help, even if it's just like a monitor, you know, behind the plate, you know, where they usually have the wall. And if you light that up with stats and we can actually see a strike zone there, you know, again, that's going to give you the correct, you know, location where there's not going to be, you know, any chance of an ump, you know, kind of dictating the outcome of a game, you know, whether he ends up not liking a particular player and, you know, wants to go against them. Because, you know, obviously we know umps, you know, have certain relationships with players, and there's certain players that they like more than others. And they definitely try to screw over, you know, certain players that talk to them, you know, in a tone that they don't like, you know, and that's not something that they're supposed to do, but it happens all the time. Top of the 5th, 1-1 Mariners and Tigers. First pitch from Scubal to Solano. High and away, 1-0 count. And I don't think I've seen a strike 3 called reversed from the home plate ump all year. But again, you know, this is the Mariners, and you know, we play this chaotic style of baseball, and I guess, you know, sometimes we get screwed over, I guess. Takes a strike looking high and inside. Paints that corner beautifully. Skubal. 1 ball and 1 strike to Donovan Solano. One pitch. Low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike from Skubal to Solano. 2-1 pitch. High and away. Tries to paint the corner and misses. 3 balls and 1 strike to Donovan Solano. Yeah, I mean, the last thing the Mariners need is the umps to dictate the outcome of the game. Fucking A, man. We've had a hard time winning games as it is. The last thing that we fucking need from our pitchers being injured and guys not playing up to their potential like Julio, our bullpen fucking sucking ass. The last thing that we need, is to not only battle ourselves, now we're having to battle the fucking umps just to get the right calls. It's like every fucking thing is going against us, but we just have to stay strong and hopefully it'll even itself out, as the game progresses. But brutal stretch with these last 4 games. Pitch fouled off right down the middle with that sinker by Skubal. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. We're in the top of the 5th with a 1-1 tie. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes and 100 on the Dono train. Nice job by Donovan Solano working that count. Nice job, Don. Next up is Dylan Moore. First pitch, slider, low and at the knees by Skubal, 1-0 count. Yeah, seriously. All right, we need 3 more likes. Now we only need 2 more to get to 50. We're almost at the halfway point, and we're halfway through the matchup. So 2 more people hit that like button. We're at 50. Let's go. And we have still at least 25 or 30 that haven't done it yet. 2-0 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike from Skubal to Demo. It's like we've already had to struggle with injuries, and our starting pitching isn't as good as it was in past years. Some guys are struggling like Julio, but others have been hot like Randy, and again, the bullpen has gone through, times where they're incredibly consistent and other times incredibly terrible, right? And having meltdowns even by our good players like Brash and Mooney blowing the game for us, as well as Fire, and the last thing that we need is the umps to screw us out of, strike 3 calls or costing us games like they did yesterday. 2-1 pitch, big swing and a miss right down the middle by Demo. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Skubal to Dylan Moore. But again, we just have to fight the adversity and hope that we can find a way to take the lead. Line drive to left, and Demo is out. 2 away. Or 1 away, excuse me. Next up, third baseman in the 9-hole, Ben Williamson. Skubal wheeling and dealing. Come on, Ems. First pitch to Skubal, fouled off by Big Ben. 0-1 count. But I always like playing, the best teams. I want the Cubs. I want the Yankees. I want the Dodgers. I want the Tigers. I want the Astros. I want the Mets. I want the Phillies. I want the Dodgers. I want the Padres. I want the Giants. It's always going to, kind of give us a test to see like how we match up to the best of the best. Since I do believe that we will be a wild card team if we can't catch up to the Stros. Obviously, they keep winning. 0-1 pitch in play and grounds out to third, throw to first, and got him. But Solano at second, safe. Nice play by Zach McKinstry at third. Great defense there. Fall away throw right on the money to Spencer Torkelson. Beautiful play at third by the Tigers. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 0, and he got plunked at his first at-bat, J.P. Crawford. A plunk and a walk. Let's go, J.P. First pitch, high and away with the slider, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to J.P. Crawford. Come on, J.P. Two-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. Come on, J.P. Line drive by J.P. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. And J.P. Crawford with a nice RBI. That's my dude. J.P. Crawford singles to left. Solano, he's not fast, but he found a way. 2-1 Mariners. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Nice job by JP. Hell yeah. 12 games in a row for JP. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, Julio. First pitch takes a strike looking high and away. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Come on, J-Rod. Julio, 4 for 38 in July. Jesus Christ. Yeah, definitely doesn't deserve to be in the All-Star game. And it also shows you that fans of, baseball, but not the Mariners, they still think Julio is the same player as he was in his rookie year. You can definitely tell who actually is watching the Mariners and watching Julio and who is just doing it based off name recognition, assuming that Julio is still, one of the best players in the game. But he goes back. See ya! Julio Rodriguez decides, I'm not going to the All-Star game, but I'm coming up big. There we go. Julio homers to left center. JP scores. 4-1 Mariners, and we're going to win, baby. Let's go. If you go 4 for 38 and then you finally homer, that's going to be, and again, I told y'all, we ended up beating Scooball 3-2 in Seattle. I might have been the only one on planet Earth that believed that we could win today. And look at that. Julio Rodriguez finally gets off the schneid after deciding not to go to the All-Star game, letting Randy go instead. And then Julio finally has a great at-bat against Scooball, of all people. You literally homered off the best pitcher in the game, but that's the Mariners for you. We get a strike 3 reversed on us, right? The ump is dictating the outcome of the game. Scooball, the best pitcher in the game, no problem. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, 4-1 Mariners. Let's go. Unbelievable. $3 holla. Appreciate you. Great timing for Julio to come up big against Scooball. Stacks, racks, and some jack. Appreciate you. Let's go. But 4 for 38, in July is absolutely terrible. And it's just kind of almost comical that Julio finally ends up getting a big 2-run jack against Scooball out of all people. But again, that's the Mariners. And again, you never know how things are going to end up in a matchup. And, I'm always confident when we play the good teams. I don't take it as, Oh man, we're gonna get our ass kicked, or this is tough. I'm really looking forward to the challenge there. Next up is Cal Raleigh on a 2-2 count now. And we won 3-2 against Skubal in game number 3 in Seattle. 2-2 pitch, and down goes Cal Raleigh. But hell, Julio ended up making up for it in that particular inning. Let's go to the bottom of the 5th. Apple TV Plus broadcast. I had a good feeling today, and again, so far so good. But again, we can't have the bullpen blow it again for us. We don't want to be up 5-1 and end up losing 6-5. We ended up having the meltdown, and normally we're hoping for the meltdown for the other team, but unfortunately, Brash, Munoz, Spire had the meltdown yesterday. I don't think it'll happen today. Nice job. 4-1 Mariners. Nice job, Julio. Yeah, and again, it's Mariners, right? It's kind of like that Soto mojo. Like everyone else, if they played Skubal, they would lose. But with the Mariners, if we end up, having kind of some crazy, wacky games, previously, sometimes maybe the baseball gods are going to, help us out a little bit. And apparently it looks like that we're on the right path to get a victory on Skubal for twice in the season. And I imagine if we end up winning, we're going to be the only team in MLB that has actually got 2 wins on him all year if we are able to hang on today. Skubal still the best pitcher in the game, but Julio, nice job, baby. 4 for 38, now 5 for 39. But you get a big 2-run jack with JP on board instead of a solo dinger, and that might be the difference between us winning and losing the game. Great job. Next up for the Tigers in the bottom of the 5th, 0 for 1, Javier Baez. Batting second in the 1 hole, 0 for 2 with a K, Colt Keith. And batting third, the former Yankee, 0 for 0 with a run and 2 walks, Gleyber Torres. Let me know what you want to do for photos, and I got you, Reflect. I'm going to throw up some Julios for the time being. Nice to be able to see him, and maybe it was karma for, letting, Randy, end up going, and obviously deciding to take care of his body and not participating in the All-Star game, which I think is the great move and a great choice by him. That way it opened the door for Randy Arozarena or George Springer to make the All-Star game. And, with him choosing his body and mind and trying to be able to have a good second half of the season, and then obviously getting paid in return with a 2-run jack against Skubal for declining the All-Star visit. So karma has funny ways on working itself out. Nice job, Julio. Tridents up. First pitch from Luis Castillo to Javier Baez. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 0-1 count. Yeah, and I think that, if you have some honesty and humility and understand, that maybe taking care of his body is better, and maybe there was guys that were more deserving, and if you're not feeling it and you're not invited in the home run derby, right? Fucking A, stay home. A lot of guys, you ended up getting the vote, but again, I think it's the right thing, and he got rewarded with good sports karma there. 1-2 pitch, and got him. There we go. Nice pitch by Luis Castillo with another punch out. My boy. Nice job, baby. Down goes Javier Baez on strikes. Next up is Colt Keith. First pitch from Castillo to Keith. Takes a strike looking low and away. 0-1 count. Keep going, Castillo. Let's go, La Piedra. 4-1 Mariner lead. Right now, to me, he's a 20 to 29 home run hitter, an elite defender, and again, he'll only get to that 30, 40, 50 home run in a season, if he ends up changing his approach, being more patient in the box, maybe using a torpedo bat, watching more film, working with Edgar and Ichiro and Seitz or more, and it's possible. He's incredibly young. He might still play for another 15 years. So, we hope at some point in his career he gets better, but even if he ends up being a 20 to 29 home run hitter, that will still be good enough. to help us make a World Series or go to an ALCS or ALDS, since we have Cal Raleigh as the main superstar. So, and then hopefully we bring in a few other stars so there's less pressure on Julio. Like, for example, bringing Gino back to the Mariners and having him play third. Don't know if that will happen, but it would be exciting, and I think it would help Julio tremendously. 3-2 pitch, fouled off, high and inside. Count still full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Colt Keith. There we go. Captain doing a great job with all day. We're at 50. We need 50 more likes to go, and we have at least 25 people in the room that haven't smashed that like button just yet. Lauren in the building. What's good? And we're at 18, 82 to go on the Dono train. 3-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away. Count still full. 3 balls, 2 strikes from Castillo to Keith. You know, maybe the Mariners are the only team that knows how to, hit against Screwball. Apparently, no, everyone else can't do it. But for the Mariners, we know the formula. But also, too, I think there's a little piece, in the back of his head. He's got Pacific Northwest ties. He's from Seattle. So I know that, the family and other individuals, they grew up watching him play, baseball in the Pacific Northwest. So maybe that has something to do with it as well. A little extra pressure, to do well, against the hometown state back in the day. But, you're not going to see Screwball get roughed up. And this might be the first time that a team has beaten him home and on the road. We might be the only team this year. 3-2 pitch. Got him. There we go. Pitch that shouldn't have been called strike 3 gets called strike 3, but we'll take it. Nice punch out by Luis Castillo. 2 away. Next up is the former Yankee Gleyber Torres. First pitch takes a strike looking right down the middle by Luis Castillo. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes to Gleyber Torres. And again, we should find a way to win this game as long as we don't have a meltdown with our bullpen. And that's a big what if, right? Hell, we had our best guys other than Bizzardo, who didn't pitch yesterday, have a meltdown. Brash, Mooney, and Spire. But, you would assume those 3 guys aren't going today. So we're going to have to go with some of the others like Thornton or Legomina or Burgos or maybe Bizzardo, which would make sense. So we'll see, how long we can, keep this up, and hopefully we get a few more runs. 2-2 pitch. Low and at the knees. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Gleyber Torres. But great performance by Castillo. He had his best start of the year against the Pirates on his last start, winning 1-0, and it definitely is carrying over here today. And also getting out of that jam early in the game where we had runners at first and second with no outs, and they scored, nothing up to a point. Then they had the strike 3 that got reversed from the home plate ump, and then it ended up being 1-1, which was kind of bullshit. Next pitch, they ended up getting an RBI, which the same thing happened against the Yankees. We should have had game over on strike 3. Next pitch, they get a 2-run RBI, tie it up 5-5. It goes into extras and we lose. But then we got rewarded with the Julio home run. So karma has a funny way of, kind of working itself out. Popped up, and Randy Arozarena is there for out number 3. There we go. Oh, Acuna is out. I wonder who they'll have replace. Maybe Gino? Gino would be great. Yelich. There's a few guys that they could add on. Twisted his back. That's unfortunate. And he was having a really good comeback after missing a good chunk of the season, kind of like George Kirby. He missed a lot of time, but then came in pretty hot. Unfortunate, it sounds like the back is not right, but hopefully he gets better. End of the 5th inning, 4-1 Mariners. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes before the stream ends. And we're at 18 on the dono train, 82 to go. Let's go M's, baby. Gained another sub. 38 subs to get to 21,000. Shout out to all the new subs that we've acquired. Matt Olson is in. Okay, from the Braves. Same thing kind of like with the Julio thing, you know, for the All-Star game. They went from one Mariner player to another Mariner player, and now they're doing it for the same thing in the Home Run Derby, going from one Brave to another. So seems like a common theme in the All-Star, structure so far. And Scooball is out now. So again, you're not going to see him get roughed up too often. Look at Scooball's final line. You know, best pitcher in the game, but not against the Mariners. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks, 87 pitches, 54 strikes. And now Hanafi is in the game. So again, we might be the kryptonite to Scooball. We're like the only team that knows how to beat him. And again, if we end up winning this game, it'll be the only team to beat him twice in a season. Once at our place and once here in Detroit at Comiskey, or Comerica, excuse me. Comerica Park. Pitch is outside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. Big swing and a miss by Randy Arozarena. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Hanafi to Randy. Yeah, and that's why I felt kind of confident, that we ended up winning 3-2 against Scooball, but most Mariner fans don't remember that far back into the season. And Arozarena lines out to right, 1 away. But I always go back and look at, the past games, go to the stat sheets, go back and watch film. And again, I felt good about today. I think 99% of the Mariner fan base was deflated, defeated, depressed after getting swept by the Yankees. But I felt really great this morning. I thought, that this would be a game that we could prove that we could bounce back. And, and then getting the Randy news that he's in the All-Star game. I don't know. I just felt like the vibes were good. And, and I felt that, we had a rough, obviously finish last night. And, what a better way to get back off the horse and jump back on playing the best team in baseball in the American League with the best pitcher. I'm up for the challenge, and the Mariners were as well. Pitches outside, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mitch Garver. Yeah, we have beaten a lot of aces this year, more than most teams, considering we're not like a top dog. We're like a wild card team, like in second place, But even though if the Yankees and the Mariners end up being wild card teams, who's to say that they don't go on deeper runs, than the Astros and Blue Jays at the end of the year? I mean, it's possible. There's going to be a lot of chaos in the American League and the National League. 2-1 pitch. That one is fouled off, low and at the knees. Hips, knees. 2 balls, 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. 4-1 Mariner lead. It's like I almost feel like the sports gods know that we got screwed yesterday. So, we got a little bit of extra magic from Julio today to make up for it. 2-2 pitch in play. And there we go. Mitch Garver with a nice single to right. Diving attempt there by Detroit, but was a no-go. Here we go, baby. Nice job, Mitch. Next up is Jorge Polanco. Polo's 1 for 2 with a run, and Polo's actually starting to kind of heat up. Maybe not on the same level as like Randy, since June 11th, but Polo has actually been pretty good. overall. Not like Julio being like 4 for 38. Luckily, he had that 2-run jack here today to make it 5 for 39. But, you expect someone to be a little bit better, than 4 for 38, for Julio Rodriguez. But, hopefully he'll be better after the All-Star break, and I think he will be. 1-0 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Hanafi to Polo. Let's go. Yeah, exciting that we got the 3rd pick in the draft as well. 2-0 pitch and flied out to right. 2 away. I mean, there's a couple solid pitchers in the draft and a lot of skill position players as well. Perfect position for us to add on another key piece and a wheel in the cog to be able to keep it moving. Next up is Donovan Solano. First pitch from Hanafi to Solano. Takes a strike looking, low and away. 0-1 count. One more like to 60. Let's get there, baby. Apple TV Plus, global broadcast, 4K cameras. Even if you don't have a 4K TV and you have HD TV, it looks like 4K. It's beautiful. 1-1 pitch. Low and at the knees, fouled off by Solano, who had a triple. And in one of his early at-bats, obviously it was a diving attempt, by Parker Meadows, and he miscalculated, and the ball hit right in front of him and then rolled all the way back to the wall. Polo scored, and Donovan Solano actually got a triple based off that error that wasn't claimed as an error, but it was close. Just kind of a miscalculation there. And, if you dive for a ball in the outfield, you better get it, because if it goes behind you, it's going to be a big play. I mean, if it went just a little bit further, it would have been an inside the park home run for Solano, but obviously we know Don isn't the fastest guy in the bunch. Little slow dribbler, throw to first or second for the force out, and there it is, out number 3. Let's go to the bottom of the 6th inning and see who's up next here for the Tigers. Yeah, and hopefully Julio will have a very similar May, in August, and moving forward into September. So next up for the Tigers, 1 for 2 right fielder, 3-hole hitter, Wencel Perez. Batting second, the best power hitter on the Tigers, besides Spencer Torkelson. 1 for 2, Riley Green. He's an absolute stud. And batting third, a guy that's going to be in the running for comeback player of the year with Javier Baez, Spencer Torkelson. 0 for 2 with a K. Castillo's at 92 pitches, so I don't know if they're going to have him come back out or not. But solid day for Luis Castillo. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 6 Ks, 92 pitches, 59 strikes, 3.24 ERA. Skubal, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks, 87 pitches, 54 strikes. But obviously that big 2-run jack by Julio was the end of Skubal. And you got to think, if La Piedra didn't have his best start, of the year, last start, maybe we're down 4-1 right now. So again, we have to be very thankful, because let's be real. We've seen Castillo look amazing this year. It was kind of a rebirth in his career. Obviously when he first came up from the Reds in 2022, he was a key piece that helped us go to the playoffs for the first time in 20 plus years. But in 2023 and 2024, his stats were declining and he was going on a downward slope. But in 2025, he started to look like that pitcher that we first brought over from the Reds in 2022. And he's been streaky. Some games, he's looked kind of shitty. But for the most part, it's been a pretty successful, comeback emergence for Luis Castillo. First pitch to Wencel Perez, fouled off, high and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and away with the changeup. 1 ball and 1 strike from La Piedra to Wencel Perez. One pitch in play, and there's a single there, right up the middle. Not enough time for JP to make a throw. Nice hit by Perez, and hopefully we can end up getting a strikeout and a double play, or a double play and a strikeout. Next up is Riley Green, absolute stud hitter. Let's go, M's. We're going to be the only team in MLB to be able to beat Scooball at home and on the road, as long as we can hang on to this victory. But I want a few more runs. 4-1 isn't enough. I'm hoping that we can get to like 6 or 7 before the game is up. Ronald in the building. What's good, brother? Charles with a big dono. Appreciate you. First pitch to Riley Green, fouled off, 0-1 count. Appreciate you, Charles. $10 holla. Let me know what you want to do for photos if you got a favorite player, past or present. Stacks, Racks, Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you. Charles coming up with a nice dono support for the channel, and I appreciate it very, very much. Anyone that donates any dollar amount, whether it be 99 cents, $1, all the way up to the highest dono that we've ever gotten for one single dono, $1,300 from Shepard Williams. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. 0-1 pitch, fouled off again, high and away. No balls and 2 strikes to Riley Green. Ooh, Sean Kemp, good choice. The Rain Man, baby. And hopefully, the Sonics will be back in the NBA. It sounds like there's a very good possibility for that to happen. Maybe Seattle and Vegas, would be, places that we will end up having those expansion teams. 2-0 pitch, or 0-2 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Castillo to Green. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a strike 3 from the home plate umpire reversed, and then the next pitch they get the RBI, but it's like yesterday's game. Throw to third, and he's safe. But also we should have had strike 3 game over yesterday, and then they ended up calling it a ball. Next pitch, they got 2-run RBI, went into extra innings, and we lost. So it's the first time that we've lost based on a call from an ump all year. And again, we know how bad that series was officiated. It was definitely heavily favored for New York yesterday. In the first 2 games, it was like, maybe 60-40, 50-50. But game number 3 against New York, it felt like it was 90-10 for New York, especially late in the matchup. But there was definitely missed calls, on both ends. But it was the critical missed calls, like strike 3 game over, and then you let the game continue. And then, I don't know if that ump has DraftKings or whatnot, but it definitely seems sketchy. Oh, Green, deep right field, and it's over Julio's head. Pick it up. And that's going to score a run. RBI triple. Now it's 4-2 Seattle. Come on, Castillo. Yeah, well, they were, tipping off the pitches, and they were figuring out what pitches were being thrown. So the Yankees, kind of had the edge there at the end. They figured out what we were throwing based off Cal and based off the movements of our guys, which is unfortunate, especially on how good Wu was doing. Had a no-hitter going into the 8th. And now that should be the last time we see Castillo. But overall, besides giving up that big hit there, he pitched really well. We have to give Castillo credit because, remember, we've seen Castillo give up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 runs and look terrible. So, overall, solid outing for Luis La Piedra. And now we got a runner at third with no outs. And hopefully it'll be 4-3 or still 4-2, by the time this is over. But again, you got a runner at third. You assume that someone in the next 3 batters will hit a sac fly at the very least. So it'll probably be a minimum of 4-3. But hopefully it's not 4-4 or we're down 5-4, 6-4. But they're going to bring in Bizzardo, and hopefully he'll shut him down. So. Eight more likes to get to 70. Let's go, baby. The next up is Spencer Torkelson. After that, Zach McKinstry. And then batting third, if we get to that point, will be catcher Dylan Dingler. Apple TV broadcast, bottom of the sixth, 4-2, Seattle. All right, come on, Bizzardo. We could have used you yesterday. First pitch takes a strike looking at Spencer Torkelson. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off. High and away. No balls and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Torkelson. Come on, Edward. (0-2) pitch, low and in the zone, should have been strike 3, and another call, being wasted here by this ump. Again, should be already 1 out, but now 1 ball and 2 strikes. I'm sick and tired of, calls not going our way, when they're on the line or when they're in the zone and you're not getting the calls. And next pitch popped up, deep left field, back. Randy with the big catch in the outfield. And obviously the runner tags up from third and scores. 4-3 Seattle. It always happens like that, doesn't it? When you should have an out and then the next pitch ends up leading to something big where the other team scores, either a home run or an RBI or a sac fly. And it happened again. Should have had strike 3. They go 1 more pitch. Then obviously you get a deep fly ball into left. Randy catches it, something that we want Julio to do as well. And runner tags up from third and scores. Next up is Zach McKinstry. Yeah, great catch by Randy. Imagine if he would have missed it. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Zach McKinstry. Let's go, Bizzardo. Man, I can't, it's crazy to think that, so many people were against the ABS or like robot umps or, having a screen show what's a strike and what's not, like right behind the plate. Because again, if you end up having that lit up on those boards that are behind, that are normally for advertisement, and if you end up having a big board that shows the strike zone, there's no debate. It's either in the square or outside of the square, and again, that's going to end up making the game better, instead of having an ump ruin a game, which we've seen on a regular basis. 3-1 pitch, low and away, and that is a 5-pitch walk by Bizzardo, which is rare. Come on, Edward, we need a double play now. Next up is catcher Dylan Dingler. We need a slow dribbler right up the middle to JP, and then we get the double play and get out of this inning. And I don't know. I mean, it's too early to tell if Colt Keith will get a hit or not. I mean, anyone is capable of getting a hit in this game, but kind of depends on who's pitching when Colt Keith comes up. Good game here. Bottom of the sixth, 4-3 Mariners. Runner at first. Apple TV Plus global broadcast. And Dingler popped up. Deep center field. Julio running in. Shallow center field. And he catches it. 2 away. Good job by Julio there. Next up, center fielder Parker Meadows. Let's go, Bizzardo. Bottom of the 6th, 4-3 Mariners. And again, we've been able to figure out Scooball at home and on the road, but now we need the bats to continue to light up, and we need the bullpen to be strong. We don't want to lose this game based on the bullpen shitting the bed and, having an epic meltdown like they did yesterday. But I'm proud of this team. It shows you, even though we're not full strength, that we can compete with anybody on any given day. Our record might not be the greatest, only a couple games above 500, but we can compete with anybody in any league, when we're on, and again, hopefully we end up making some key additions at the trade deadline. First base, third base, right field, and 2 or 3 relief pitchers. We do that, we're in business. Swipe at first. I believe he's safe. First pitch from Bizzardo to Meadows, low and away with the 4-seam fastball, 1-0 count. Yeah, definitely. We know that Julio has struggles in the box, but as far as defense in center, he definitely is one of the best in the world on defense. Absolutely. It's just that with the money that we paid, we wanted him to be a two-way player like Griffey. And McKinstry steals second. Let's go, baby. We got to finish strong. Well, Julio already homered today. I don't know if Julio's going to homer twice in the game. I mean, it would be fantastic if he does. My pup is in here now. She misses Dad. She wants to be able to see, hopefully, a Mariner victory. 2-1 pitch, fouled off by Parker Meadows. Bottom of the 6th, 4-3 Mariners, Apple TV Plus, global broadcast, 4K cameras. It is beautiful. Bizzardo on the mound, Parker Meadows in the box. Two-two pitch, and got him. There we go, strike 3. 97 miles an hour by Bizzardo, baby. Let's go. Way to bring that electricity, Bizzardo. End of the 6th inning. Mariners are up 4-3. Hell yeah, bro. I'm excited for you. And like for a while, we didn't really know what they were going to be, doing with this particular group. But nice for the 6 to be able to, get a little recognition. Nice job by Bizzardo. Let's go. And it shows you how Bizzardo is more valuable than Gabe Spire. Gabe Spire is kind of like Julio, as far as like bullpen guys, super popular, super likable, but super streaky. And even though they have the name recognition and everyone loves Gabe and everyone loves Julio, sometimes there's other guys that might not be as popular, Randy Arozarena, Edward Bizzardo, that are a little bit more consistent that get the job done. So no spamming the chat, my guy. All right, end of the 6th inning. Bizzardo does his job. Let's see if we can get a couple more runs. I really would like us to get to 6 or 7, considering the umps have been screwing us in the last 4 games. We need as many runs as we can get because you never know what kind of questionable calls we're going to get at the end of this game. So next up for the Mariners, 0-for-2, right fielder Dylan Moore. How about send Dylan Moore down and bring up Leo Rivas? Rivas has been raking lately. Batting second, 0 for 2, third baseman, Ben Williamson. Hopefully we upgrade and get Eugenio Suarez back. I still love Big Ben and love Miles Mastroboni, but you can always have those guys DH or, play another position or fill in once in a while. And obviously you don't want Ben to go backwards or Mastroboni, but you get Gino, one of the top 4 power hitters with Cal. That could be the difference for us on a deep run. Big facts. And batting third, 1 for 1 with a run and RBI. He got plunked on his first at bat. J.P. Crawford. Let's go, baby. I do. I remember Ortiz when he went by his original name, the Arias, when he had a bunch of his rookie cards on the Twins, and then he changed his name and whatnot. And obviously when you have a high draft pick, usually the team is going to lean towards that guy. But if we actually had Leo Rivas, playing second over Cole, we probably would be doing a little bit better. If you actually look at what Leo can do, steal bags, he's athletic, he's a winner as Dylan Moore flies out to right. And he's actually been doing pretty well, in AAA. And he was actually doing pretty well when he was playing with us. But again, when you end up having a high draft pick, eventually they're going to, lean towards that guy and typically keep them, on the team with Big Ben and with Cole Young. But I love Cole and I love Ben, and I love Harry Ford. I can't wait for him to get the call up as well. Top of the 7th, 4-3 Mariners. Next up is Ben Williamson. First pitch, takes a strike, looking right down the middle from Hannafy. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, takes another strike, looking right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes to Big Ben Williamson. Let's go, Big Ben. Oh-2 pitch, low and away with the slider. Misses the plate by about 2 feet. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Hannafy to Williamson. 4-3 game, but again, I don't feel comfortable only being up by 1. I mean, we really need to try to get to 6 or 7, if we want to be able to be victorious here at the end. We definitely need a little bit of a cushion. 1-2 pitch, fouled off and fouled back. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Big Ben. Yeah, Demo shouldn't be on the team. I mean, I know he had 8 home runs early and he homered in that 4th of July game that I went to, but he's just way too inconsistent. We could definitely use someone that's better on offense and defense, but, 1-2 pitch, fouled off high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the 7th, Apple TV global broadcast. 1-2 pitch and a little flip to the pitcher. 2 away. And we're going to have a pitching change now. And next up is J.P. Crawford. Let's go, J.P. Shout out to all the new subs that we've acquired. 20,962. We only need 38 more to hit 21,000. And And we've been increasing our viewership on the daily. We're at 3,800 regular viewers. At the beginning of the season, it was around 1,000 to 1,500. And again, pretty soon we'll be at 4,000 and then 5,000 regular viewers, which is great. Female viewership is up from 5% to 12%. And then again, like I mentioned early in the broadcast, United States usually covers around 70 to 75% of the views. But we also have Venezuela, Mexico, Dominican Republic, Philippines, Canada, Nicaragua, Japan, Panama, Colombia, New Zealand, Australia, just to name a few of the others that watch this channel on a regular basis. If you are watching from one of those locations that I mentioned, shout out to you. Appreciate you guys very, very much. We have ourselves a very good matchup here. And again, I know a lot of Mariner fans were down and out, depressed, after getting swept by the Yankees and the way that we lost. But I felt really good about, today. Went on a real early walk with the pup at like 6 a.m. Nobody out there, just me and her. And, felt like this could be, similar to the game that we had, when we lost the first 2 games at T-Mobile and won game 3 against Scooball in Seattle 3-2. And now we have a 4-3 game. And, again, it's in our hands to win, and hopefully we can close it out. 7 more likes to 70. Let's get there, baby. Captain and all, always doing a great job handling the lead mod duties. Appreciate it very, very much. Tyler Holton entering the game, the lefty. First pitch to JP with the sweeper inside 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to JP Crawford. 288 average, 7 homers, 33 ribbies. 1-1 pitch, low and away with the sweeper by Holton. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 2 outs. Holton on the mound, JP Crawford in the box. Come on, JP. And JP with a pop-up into left field, and that is out number 3. All right, 7th inning stretch. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Tigers in the bottom of the 7th. Next up, 0 for 2 with a K, one of the individuals that will be in the running for Comeback Player of the Year. And not only do the Tigers have one guy that will be in the running for it, they have a second guy in Spencer Torkelson. They've made a lot of strides in the last few years. Shout out to them. But batting first, 0 for 2 with a K, Javier Baez. Batting second, 0 for 3 with 2 Ks, Colt Keith. And batting third, the former Yankee, 0 for 1 with a run and 2 walks, Gleyber Torres. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. I appreciate that very much. Again, I don't think the, average person realizes like how difficult it is, to do like a 3-person job by yourself, do, play-by-play, do color, and to also, manage the stream and produce the stream on the fly, watching multiple screens for stat pages, as well as the games, as well. So I appreciate that very, very much. I try to give a unique broadcast to make things that may not necessarily be fun to some people, but, try to make, a baseball stream fun, and again, there's going to be some people out there that'll do it a little bit different. And we know how oversaturated the YouTube market is with the NFL. And again, obviously the MLB, the NBA, the NHL, and NASCAR and WWE are a little bit more niche markets, and again, we'll be doing a lot of college football and a lot of NFL on the channel. But again, it's a pleasure and a dream of mine, to be able to do this as a full-time job and to be able to grow with you guys. And I really do appreciate every single one of you guys. Means a lot. Bottom of the 7th, 4-3 Mariner lead. And we'll see what we got here with Javier Baez. And they still got Bizzardo in the matchup here. First pitch to Javi Baez. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch to Javi Baez in play. Grounds out to third. Throw to first. Got him. 1 away. Next up, leadoff hitter. 0 for 3 with 2 Ks. DHing Colt Keith. No, I mean, the Tigers are, the best team in the American League, one of the best teams in baseball. Again, I call a spade a spade. If someone is great, we're going to make sure we showcase the greatness, not just, for the players that, the host roots for. We want to make sure that we're showcasing every good player, regardless if they're on the Mariners or not. And plus, I follow the league as a whole, not just the Mariners, very deep. So, and Keith fouls that one off. Down that right field line. No balls and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Keith. Skuball's the best pitcher in the game. Yeah, the Mariners potentially, if we win today, could be the only team that's beaten him on, the road and at home. But again, he does have Pacific Northwest ties. He's from Seattle, so that has something to do with it too, I believe. But again, Skubal is the most exciting pitcher, besides what happened today, in my opinion. Him and Skeens are electric. Except Skeens doesn't get any run support and Skubal does. 0-2 pitch, popped up, and Colt Keith flies out to center, 2 away. Next up, the former Yankee, second baseman Gleyber Torres. First pitch to Torres, takes a strike looking right down the middle by Bizzardo, 0-1 count. Yeah, it's crazy where you get some of these like elite pitchers. Not everyone is going to be like a Skeens with a Livy Dunn, at LSU. Like sometimes you're going to get guys that, end up going to very, very small schools. Look at Logan Gilbert, look at George Kirby, and, look at Tarek Skubal. Not maybe a location that people even recognize as far as baseball schools. 0-2 pitch, and got him. Bizzardo. He might be the only guy that you really trust going 2 innings except for Brash. Nice fucking job. Bizzardo, you should have played yesterday and maybe we would have won. Or if they would have just called strike 3 when they should have, instead of calling it a ball, then it would have already been game over. All right, let's go to the top of the 8th and see if we can get a little bit more run support. Next up, a guy that went 4 for 38 but decided to go yard today with JP on board. Could he be the hero today? It's kind of looking like it. 1 for 3 with a K, a run, and a 2-run jack, Julio Rodriguez. Batting second, 0 for 3 with 2 Ks, a guy that is way overdue for a homer. I'm looking for a home run, number 37 and 38, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And batting third, getting the all-star nod because Julio decided to stay home, 0 for 3. It would be great if you hit a homer, Randy Arozarena. Let's go Mariners. I love the way that Randy has been playing since June 11th. Hot, 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 and very deserving of the all-star bid. Yeah, well, Bizzardo's got, coming into the game, the 3rd most innings pitched for a relief pitcher. And again, he was one of the worst players on the team last year with Sauce. And obviously Carlos Vargas, I think, is becoming a dad. So he's, on a parental, obviously getting sent down. And they decided to bring Taylor Saucedo up, but I think it's only going to be for like a day or two. But Sauce and Bizzardo were equally terrible last year. Sauce at this point is still bad, but Bizzardo, to me, he's the most improved player the Mariners have had maybe in the last 5 years, like compared to where he was and where he is now. I mean, he's literally the most trustworthy guy we got in the pen other than Brash and then Mooney. So, shout out to him. And he even leapfrog Gabe Spire, based on the rankings in our bullpen, who Spire used to always be right there behind Brash. And when Brash was injured, Spire was our best guy, other than Munoz, the closer. And now Spire is probably third or fourth. But, I like the development of Bizzardo. All right, let's go, Julio. Let's go, J-Rod. I'm still a fan. I'm still going to root. I still collect the memorabilia. I still got autographed memorabilia. I still got autographed rookie cards. I still got autographed jerseys. I still got, all the merch. I'm not going to turn my back, ever on Julio. It's just, we're going to state the obvious, hope for the best, sometimes expect the worst, but sometimes he will surprise you. In play, little dribbler, and throw to first, and that is out number 1. Next up is big dumper Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. First pitch from Holton the Cal. Takes a strike swinging, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, big swing and a miss for Cal Raleigh, now batting right-handed. No balls and 2 strikes from Holton, the big dumper. 0-2 pitch, high and away with the 4-seam fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. Bring that electricity, baby. And again, for switch hitters, there's no drop-off when he goes to the right-hand side. He equally can smash 2 homers from the left and 2 homers on the right in the next game. And he can also do 1 from the left and 1 from the right. It all really depends on who is pitching on the mound and if they're left-handed or right-handed. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Holton, the big dumper. Come on, Cal. We need a little bit more insurance here. 8-0 versus the Cubs. That's impressive. Oh, here we go. Back. See ya! Cal Raleigh with a dinger, baby. Woo! Hey, you ask for home run number 37, you get home run number 37, baby. I even took the time to bring up a right-handed photo, and there it is. Tridents up, 5-3 Mariners. The sports gods, I'm telling you, they listen. All you got to do is you got to speak it into existence. And if you speak it into existence, sometimes it happens. And there you go. 5-3 Mariners. Home run number 37. And we want home run number 38 fucking tomorrow. Let's go. And if he gets home run 39, that'll tie Barry Bonds. But we know Bonds is a cheater. So obviously being able to get those home runs clean, like Ken Griffey Jr., Cal Raleigh, you are the big dumper. Let's go. Fuck yeah, baby. And sometimes it's just those little subtle details on bringing up photos from the left to the right and speaking of home run number 37, and then you get it, baby. Let's go. And that might have just won the game for us. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes Randy, but it's okay. We got the big dumper home run, 2 away. Next up for the Mariners, Mitch Garver, 1 for 3 with 2 Ks. Let's go, Mitch. Bring that electricity, baby. Let's see if we can get on a little bit of a rally with 2 outs. We're a very good 7th, 8th, and 9th inning team. We are a very good 2-out hitting team. And where most teams end up failing with 2 out, we thrive off of it. Let's go. Tridents up. Big dumper doing big things. 37 taters. 37, Dan. 37 taters. He had 36, now 37. And again, Aaron Judge is always going to have a higher batting average, more hits, more RBIs typically, and most of the time more home runs. But the simple fact is, you have to say, is Aaron Judge doing something that no center fielder, right fielder, or DH individual has ever done in the history of the game? And if the answer is no, you have to look at Cal on actually getting some MVP votes, because he's actually doing something that no catcher has ever done in the history of baseball. But apparently, for a lot of fans, they're only looking at the RBIs, the hits, and the batting average. And of course, his batting average is going to be like 80 to 100 points higher. Cal will be batting like, 260 to 275. Fucking A, Aaron Judge is going to be batting 300 to 400, 350 to 360. So again, if you're just going to base it on batting average alone, you have to understand it's more than just batting average. And that was kind of the knock on Cal before, is that he was batting around 200 to 220, hitting 29 to 34 home runs, and still being one of the best catchers in the game, even though people thought he wasn't even a top 10 last year. Shame on you. And now obviously getting the torpedo bat and feeling obviously comfortable with his swing, changing his mechanics, and now, has the ability to, not only break the all-time record for home runs for a catcher. It's 48 by Salvador Perez. The guy is pacing for almost 70. And this is not a guy that plays in the outfield or, a guy that's like Barry Bonds or Sosa or McGuire or Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani. He's a fucking catcher, And again, I don't think that a lot of the outsiders are really understanding. Like, what do you expect? You expect Cal Raleigh to be batting 400, and to have, 120 ribbies and, to be like the best player for him to finally get the MVP. So, if there was ever a year for it to be a co-MVP in the American League, it definitely is this year. Will Judge end up getting it? Probably. But if there was a year that anyone was deserving over, Aaron or Shohei, it's this year. I mean, when's the last time we actually seen someone play on the Judge Ohtani level? It's pretty much never happened, right? It's always been Ohtani. It's always been, Aaron Judge. And now we're finally seeing someone matching that kind of production. And, being a catcher, it should mean something. It's like a defensive player, getting, MVP of the league, like in the NFL. It's like normally it's going to go to an offensive player, but, you want to make sure that, certain guys are getting the love and the recognition that they deserve. Facts. $3 holla. Stacks, racks, Cactus Jack, bang, bang. And we know Shohei obviously pitches and obviously, hits, right? But Aaron, he's only going to be playing center field, right field, and DH. He doesn't have the same kind of responsibilities as Cal offensively and defensively every day. So, and I don't think a lot of people take that in consideration either. I love to be able to root for the underdogs, O-line, D-line, defense, special teams, and then obviously catchers in baseball. Most underappreciated position in baseball. And now we got Jones in the box, Gabe Spire on the mound. Love me some catchers. It almost feels like catchers are like offensive linemen. They might be taken for granted, but again, if you have a good one, it could make the difference. I mean, go back and look at Yogi Berra, Johnny Bench, right? Pudge Rodriguez, Mike Piazza, Buster Posey. When you got a good one, it really does make a big difference for the team. 2-1 pitch. That one's fouled off. Low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Spire to Jones. And again, Judge can win the AL MVP every year that he plays, as long as he's healthy, right? Same thing with Ohtani, and at some point, let's be real. Like, even though the Mariners don't have the best record, 9 consecutive series in a row, and we're actually, making baseball a little bit more fun. I mean, this is the most attention that baseball has gotten, since the Bonds, McGuire, Sosa, PED, Balco, steroid era, where you had a bunch of guys that were mashing home runs and you were getting people that were interested in the game. Now you're always going to have the Judge and Ohtani, fans, whether they're bandwagon or hardcore. But now you got another guy that's bringing more eyes to the sport, which is pretty cool. And he's a catcher, and he's going to be breaking so many records this year. Mickey Mantle, being arguably the best switch hitter, for multi-homer games. Cal's going to have a lot of records broken this year, and I don't think it's a flash in the pan. I think this is going to be something where you see Cal break records pretty fucking often. Facts. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Spire to Jones. Two pitch and popped up and flied out to center field. Julio is there. 1 away. Gabe Spire on the mound, and one of the emerging power hitters in the game, Riley Green. Drastically improved. He is money. 2 for 3 with run and an RBI. First pitch high and away from Gabe Spire with the sinker. 1-0 count. Bottom of the 8th, 5-3 Mariners. It was 4-3, and we needed Cal or Julio to come up big. And again, there's been games where Julio and Cal have done nothing. Gone 0 for 4 or 0 for 5. Today, they both homer, and that should be the difference in beating Scooball today. And Green lines out to second. 2 away. Great defense by the Mariners today. Even Riley Green can't believe that we caught that. Next up, first baseman Spencer Torkelson. For real though, huh? I mean, I'm happy with the one that I have right now. And then I ended up getting the Cal Stitch jersey at the game. It's crazy too. If you go on the Mariners team store or even on eBay, they don't really have a lot available. Again, there was a few at the stadium itself, but there's definitely a lot of, Chinese, knockoffs, for not only baseball jerseys, but for any NFL, NBA. And you can definitely tell with the font and the stitching and, if you look at the photos and whatnot. But, Cal stuff is not easy to come by. And even at the stadium, we went to the main store in the stadium and they had 15 Cals, but all of them were small, medium, or schmedium, and I need an extra large. And again, they didn't have anything above large. It was all small, medium, and large. And then we went to the second store that was on the main level. 0-2 pitch in play, and he flies out to right. And that is out number 3. Let's go. But luckily, the store that was on the main concourse with all the food courts, they had 4 jerseys tucked in the left corner, and we thought, oh, there's no chance they have Cal, and if they do, what are the chances of them being XL? And out of the 4 jerseys, in that second store, 2 of them were extra large. We bought both, and we got lucky because again, I don't think the other 2 jerseys would have stayed there much longer. And I don't know, when you end up wearing a Cal Raleigh jersey, you feel different, baby. End of the 8th inning, 5-3 Mariners. Mariners have. I mean, again, Ken Griffey Jr., right? Randy Johnson, the big unit, Edgar Martinez, Ichiro, Julio, Cal, Logan, Wu, Kirby, and again, we got Durangelo when he's ready to pitch from the left and the right. Harry Ford on the up and up. We've got a lot of guys on this team, and some are going to be, obviously, at the end of the day, are going to be in consideration of the Hall of Fame. Others are just going to be known as, good players, good role players. But, I feel good about this team and the direction that we're going. All right, let's go to the top of the 9th inning and see if we can get a little bit more insurance. Let's see if we can squeak out 1 or 2 more runs. I mean, it feels like, we're going to win at 5-3, but we said that yesterday and we had the fucking meltdown. So again, we got to be able to get as many as we can. All right, next up is Jorge Polanco. Polo 1 for 3 with a run. Batting second, unless they have someone pinch hit, first baseman Donovan Solano, and batting third, unless they have someone come in and pinch hit, right fielder in the 8-hole, Dylan Moore. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes before the stream ends. And we're looking to try to get to 100 on the donos as well. Great game. Yeah, and it's cool when we actually see players do things that they've never done before. You know, not only, you know, personal stats, but like no catcher has ever done it in the history of the game. And again, if Cal's going to be breaking all of these records, I mean, he should be considered for AL MVP. But, you know, again, I think a lot of people that don't watch the Mariners, they only look at Judge's batting average, you know, his home runs and his hits, you know, RBIs, and they just look at those things and think that, you know, that's the only thing that matters. So, like, not even given the fact that Cal's doing things that no catcher has ever done in the history of the game, but that doesn't mean anything to those people, but it should. 0-1 pitch, low and away, four-seam fastball misses by Hernandez. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jorge Polanco. Yeah, I mean, and we're not even a complete team. You know, we've been banged up, you know, with the starting pitchers, you know, with Kirby, Gilbert, and Miller. How many people could actually survive with 3 out of their top 5 being injured for half of the year? Not many. And Polo singles to right. But we definitely need some depth at first base behind Solano, depth at third base, you know, behind Ben Williamson and Miles Mastrobuoni, some depth in right field, whether it's Canzone, Dylan Moore, Luke Raley, or whoever, and also a couple other relief guys to fill in the gaps, you know, for some of the guys that we don't believe in. Next up is Donovan Solano. First pitch, takes a strike looking with the knuckle curve. 83 miles an hour by Hernandez, 0-1 count. Absolutely, man. You know, for me, like I said, I'm going to make sure that, you know, we're not going to have any toxicity. You know, again, a lot of other streamers will allow it because they want the likes and the subs and the views. But I'm not going to, you know, have one person bring down the room. And not here. And Solano singles to left. And even if that means I'm losing, you know, likes and views and subs and donos, I would rather have it by people that are being civil and respectful, you know, rather than just, you know, falling into that category where, you know, you have no soul and you sell your soul for likes and views and subs and donos, and you don't really give a shit about the people in the room. And I always will give a shit. So, you know, and sometimes it'll only be 1, you know, or 2 negative things, but, you know, you can kind of get a gauge on if someone is going to be a part of this channel in a positive way, or if they're just coming in here to stir up the pot or be negative. So you'll never see someone get the boot quicker on a sports channel than here. That's facts. Absolutely. I mean, if we had Victor Robles, we probably have an additional 5 or 6 wins minimum. You know, he makes a big difference, and we could have had JP at the 2-hole or the 9-hole. It could have made a big difference too. You know, Victor is more, you know, reliable when he's healthy, you know, than Randy and Julio most of the time. Now, he's not going to hit the, you know, a lot of home runs. You know, he's going to be more of a singles hitter, but his attitude, his hustle in right field, and just his overall positivity, like Eugenio Suarez brought us at third base. Like, you need those kind of guys, you know, to be able to do those things. Top of the 9th with runners at first and second, and now we have Luke Raley. Let's go, Luke. First pitch inside at the hips, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, low and away. Should have been called strike, but called ball. Another bad call by this ump. 2 balls and no strikes from Hernandez to Raleigh. And Raleigh is walked. All right, we got bases loaded with no outs. We're not losing today. You know, again, the sports gods, they saw what happened to us yesterday. We got fucking screwed. And again, we're going to be the only team in MLB to beat Scooball at home and on the road. And I don't know if any other, team will do that this year. Let's go. Julio gets a homer. Cal gets a homer. We get screwed against the Yankees, and we're not getting screwed here. And again, I thought that if we won game 1, that we would have a good chance winning 2 out of 3. If we lost game 1, we're probably only winning 1 game out of 3. So I like our chances. We got Mize tomorrow, and then obviously on game 3, we have Logan Gilbert. So, I mean, it would be hilarious if we ended up sweeping the Tigers after getting swept ourselves by the Yankees. But again, the Mariners play this chaotic style of baseball. I mean, it would be shocking, but I don't know. It wouldn't be the most surprising, especially if we win tomorrow. Oh, 2 pitch. High and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ben Williamson. Come on, Big Ben. I mean, Altuve, is still a great player. I think it's just disappointing whenever you hear about someone cheating, regardless on any team that they're a part of. I think that's really what it comes down to. You don't forgive the cheating, and again, it's one of those things. It's like a black eye, on the resume there. There we go. Williamson, nice little slapper into left. That's going to bring home how many? Oh, baby. There we go. That brings in Mastrobuoni, Raley to second, Solano to third, 6-3 Mariners. Let's fucking go. Nice job, Big Ben. And again, I said I wanted 6 or 7 runs, and I'm going to get it, baby. Sports gods are listening to every fucking word that we're speaking on the channel tonight. Next up is J.P. Crawford. I mean, hell, at this point, with bases loaded and no outs, we might actually get to 8, 9, or 10. And that would be good, for momentum going into tomorrow. But also remember, sometimes when the Mariners go off and they score 6 runs or more, what happens in the next game? We don't get anything, right? We get 2 runs or less. So let's hope tomorrow is not the 2 runs or less kind of game where we lose, 3-1 or 5-1, which is possible. With Mize on the mound, it's going to be tough, but hopefully we can put together a string, of a few games in a row of 4 runs or more. And if we're able to do that, we might be able to do the unthinkable and sweep the Tigers or win 2 out of 3, which would be great going into the All-Star break. Where are we at on the likes right now? We're trying to shoot for 100 on the likes before the stream ends. Where are we at on that? We got 109 in the room, so we should be able to get it. All right, we're at 71, now 72. We need 28 people, and there's at least 40 or 50 in the room that haven't hit the like button yet. So if we get half of the people that haven't done it yet, we'll hit 100. We're at 72, 28 to go. Let's go, baby. 3 more to 75, and 28 more to hit the goal. 6-3 Mariner lead with bases loaded and no outs. Let's go. Griffey loves it. Let's get it, baby. All right, now Herder is in. First pitch from Herder to J.P. Crawford. High and inside with the sinker, 1-0 count. Let's go, J.P. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking. High and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. Grand salami would be amazing to make it 10-3. It didn't hit a home run prior to Father's Day and then ended up getting one recently. That one goes foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Herder to JP Crawford. But at least at this point, I mean, we'll take anything. RBI single, a plunk, and bringing in that runner from third home, or even a walk. I mean, we'll literally take anything as long as we keep the rally going. We're at 6. Let's try to get to 8, 9, or 10 before this inning is over. JP, slapper. Oh, and it goes past him. Let's go. And that brings in a run. Hell yeah. Tiger's having a fucking meltdown. That brings in 1 and brings in 2, baby. Torres. Glaber whiffing. And again, you're starting to get some mental errors here. 8-3. The scoreboard hasn't updated yet, but the Mariners just brought in 2 right there. Torres is running a little too fast with that glove, and it goes right past him, and I absolutely love it. He got a little bit too cocky and a little greedy, running towards the ball instead of letting the ball come to him, and maybe that's why the Yankees released you. 8-3 Mariners. Let's go, baby. And hopefully the workers at ESPN will do their job and update the scoreboard. Do your job. Top of the 9th, bases loaded. No. We got runners at first and third now with no outs. Next up is Julio Rodriguez, and we already got a 2-run jack out of Julio. Can he do it again? There it is. 8-3, baby. And again, I know how bad that loss hurt and the previous 2 losses to the Yankees, but man, this one feels good. Beating Scooball at home 3-2 and beating Scooball again. Only team in MLB in 2025 to beat Scooball twice. 2-0 pitch. High and away. 3 balls and no strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Let's pour it on, baby. Hell, at this point, let's try to get to 10. Matt in the building. What's good, brother? Top of the 9th. Runners on the corners at first and third. 3-0 count to Julio Rodriguez, and that is ball number 4, baby. Meltdown. It's not us having the meltdown. We saw the meltdown with Brash. We saw the meltdown with Mooney. We saw the meltdown with Gabe Spire. But today, the meltdown started with Scooball, and it's going to end with whoever they put in the game. Let's go. Next up is Big Dumper Cal Raleigh. Grand salami for Cal. 2 home runs in a game. We want home run number 38. Let's get it, baby. 12-3 Mariners. Show me, Cal. Let's go. First pitch to Cal Raleigh. Fouls it off. 0-1 count. And Cal batting from the right-hand side. And we called the home run for Cal for home run number 37. Can he get number 38 with a grand salami? Get the mustard and rye bread, baby. Top of the 9th. Bases loaded. 8-3 with no outs. Let's go. Cal just broke his torpedo bat. Hopefully they have a spare. Looking for his 8th multi-homer game. Most multi-homer games in Mariners history. Griffey with 8. Cal's already out with 7. You know he's going to obliterate that record. You know, Cal, by the time the season is over, I guarantee he'll have 10 or more multi-homer games. Guaranteed. He might end up hitting something fucking insane where he might hit like 12 or 13 multi-homer games, especially if he hits 60 home runs or more. Because he's going to need a couple multi-homer games to get to 60 to 70. Right now, he's pacing for 64 to 70 home runs. Unbelievable. Pad those stats, Cal. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking on the line. No balls and 2 strikes to Big Dumper Cal Raleigh. 0-2 pitch. Low and away with the 4-seam fastball by Herder. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Big Dumper Cal Raleigh. Top of the 9th, bases loaded, no outs. 8-3 Mariner lead. This one feels fucking nice. 1-2 pitch, foul back. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Big Dumper Cal Raleigh. And again, the record before the All-Star break is 39 by Barry Bonds, but he cheated, right? Cal Raleigh's at 37. He's clean. Chris Davis, remember, he had 37 in 2013 for the Orioles. That was crazy. Mark McGwire, cheated, 1998. And then Reggie Jackson with 37. He was clean, we assume. So Cal's doing some amazing things here in 2025. 1-2 pitch, low and away with the sweeper by Herder. 2 balls and 2 strikes with bases loaded and no outs. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. We got 118 in the room. We should be able to get to 100 on the likes before the stream ends. Let's go. And we're at 31 on the Dono train. 69 to go. Uh-oh, Cal. Back. He did it. It's going back. Grand salami. Get the mustard and rye bread. Cal Raleigh, home run number 38, and another multi-home run game. And he ties Ken Griffey Jr. for 8. And like I said, if I say it on the channel, it's going to fucking happen. Let's fucking go. I'm telling you, if you don't believe me, be a regular viewer on this channel. We speak the facts, and the sports gods, they love this channel. If we say it, it happens. 12-3 Mariners. No matter how ridiculous it sounds when I say it, the sports gods listen, and they make it happen. What a homer by Cal Raleigh. 2 for the day, and a grand salami. 12-3 Mariners. Unbelievable. Let's fucking go. Unbelievable. Let's go, baby. Both from the right-hand side as well. You the fucking man. Next up is Randy Arozarena, who got the all-star bid since Julio decided to opt out of the game. Unbelievable, man. And again, for all these people that are saying Aaron Judge, you can't tell me by watching this game and watching what Cal is doing, no catcher has ever done the things that Cal is doing. And as good as Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani are they doing something that no player has ever done in the history of the game? We don't know about Judge because the season's not over. Obviously, he's pacing to have a great year. But Cal is doing something that no catcher has, ever done. And again, you got to think he's at home run number 38. We're not even at the All-Star break. The most that's ever been hit is Salvador Perez with 48, and that's in a full season. He's only 10 behind a guy that did it in a whole year. He's at 38, and we're not even at the halfway point. Just saying. And down goes Randy for out number 1. Is it? No, it's not. And we got a runner at first. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Reflect with a tenor. Unbelievable, man. Stacks. Racks. Jack. Bang, bang. Unmotherfucking believable. This guy right here, Cal Raleigh. Appreciate you, Reflect. First pitch from Herder to Garver. Ball inside at the knees. 1-0 count. 2 home runs away from 40. And again, 39 by Bonds, and he cheated with steroids, PEDs, Balco this, Balco that. Big Dumper is just using his big butt and his big legs and that torpedo bat, doing it clean. No steroids, no PEDs, no Balco. And look at this dumbass fan throwing the ball back. If you would have kept that ball, you would have got hundreds of dollars for it. Anytime anyone catches a Cal Raleigh ball, it's like getting a Judge or Ohtani ball. You don't throw it back, dummy. If you don't want to keep it, sell it. There definitely would be a Mariner fan that would drop a couple hundred for a Raleigh home run ball, especially in this historic season. But not every fan is created equal. What a dummy. Especially throwing a ball away from a guy that's making history. And Garver strikes out. And then you finally get a sarcastic cheer there. 38 by Cal, 34 by Judge, 31 by Ohtani. Gino with 29. Schwarber with 29. So if we get Gino, we'll have 2 of the top 4 power hitters in the game, and that could be the difference between the Mariners, making a deep run or not making a deep run. Grab Gino and bring him back. We should have never let him go. Next up is Miles Mastroboni. Top of the 9th, 12-3 Mariners. Let's go. Dumper is a legend. And again, we all thought that Julio would be the next Ken Griffey Jr. Lo and behold, Cal Raleigh is trying not only to be the best catcher in 2025, he's trying to be the best catcher in the game in this generation. And realistically, he probably will be. I mean, who's going to compete with him? Will Smith? He's really good on the Dodgers, but he ain't no fucking Cal Raleigh, right? Let's go, Miles. 0-2 pitch. Fouled off high and inside. No balls and 2 strikes with 1 out in the top of the ninth. 12-3 Mariners. Fucking A, let's go. You know, and again, if you're, a Judge fan or an Ohtani fan, that's fine. But again, Cal Raleigh is doing something that no catcher has ever done in the history of baseball. Can you say the same for Ohtani and Judge this year? Eight multi-homer games, and it's only him and Ken Griffey Jr. It's like crazy to think that we have a modern-day Ken Griffey Jr. on the squad, and it's not Julio, it's Cal. But again, that's unbelievable. And I would rather have an elite catcher than an elite center fielder. It's just such a rare thing to have such talent like the Big Dumper. Oh-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Miles Mastrobuoni. Mastrobuoni, a little slow dribbler, throw to first, and not in time. Man, they're just having an epic fucking meltdown right now, aren't they? We thought our meltdown was fucking bad against the Yankees. This is a billion times worse. Nice job, Miles. And now they finally decide that maybe they should change pitchers. Casually the Mariners are putting up 7 runs in the 9th inning. Is that good? When we were up 5-3, I was content with just 1 or 2 more. But then when Big Dumper got up, we got to make it happen, right? You just have to claim what home run you want, the number, and how you want it. And the sports gods, they hear it and they make it happen. Unfucking believable. Top of the 9th, 12-3 Mariners. And I put them on the thumb for a reason, baby. Let's go. Flying Monk with a tenor. Appreciate you. And I wasn't able to bring Paisley on the stream yesterday because she was sleeping, but hopefully I'll be able to do that at some point. Appreciate you, Flying Monk. Yeah, and anytime, if it's been a minute, yeah, just let me know, and I got you. Appreciate you, my guy. $10 holla. Stacks, racks, jack, bang, bang. Let's go. Flying Monk. Bring in the dollars. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. New hybrid fairy Wenatchee. The Wenatchee Ferry. I got you. Telling you, the Pacific Northwest is a beautiful place. If you live in the Midwest, in the East Coast or the South, you visit Oregon or Washington once or twice, you'll probably move here. It's not, as bad as people make it on the news. It is a very, very beautiful place to live, especially if you love the outdoors. And we have a positional player pitching now. That's how bad it's gotten. Jake Rogers is pitching. And a sarcastic cheer from the crowd. And Solano with a little dribbler. Throw to first. It's like when we had Miles Mastrobuoni pitch. And that is 2 away. Next up is Luke Raley. Jake Rogers got one of the best stashes in the game. First pitch from Rogers to Raley takes a strike looking 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to Luke Raley. Let's go, Luke. Shout out to Sarah, Megan, Reflect, Charles, Reflect, and Flying Monk. Appreciate you. And it's crazy because it's like when Cal is up, like, you know, as we get a hit by a pitch there by Jake Rogers on the knee. But when Cal is up, like anything is possible. And, you know, you can't say the same for Julio because he's so streaky. You know, and Randy's been hot since June 11th. But, you know, Cal is doing things that we've never seen before. And it's a cool time to be alive. You know, growing up, you know, looking up to Ken Griffey Jr., looking up to the big unit Randy Johnson, looking up to Edgar Martinez, looking up to Ichiro, and then now having the dynamic duo of Cal and Julio with Logan and Wu and Kirby and Castillo and Logan Evans and everything that we got with Mooney and Brash and Bizzardo. It's super exciting to think where this team is going. Williamson, and he lines out to left, and that is finally out number 3. All right, all the Tigers need is 9 runs to tie, easy peasy lemon squeezy, 10 to win. Appreciate you. They see the whole field. They give advice. And they bring strategy. At New York Life, we know the power. That's why we're proud. Official financial guidance partner. He said, check the phone. Barb with a tenor. Appreciate you, Barb. She says, I want a flying monkey, huh? Barb with a tenor, Stacks, Racks, Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you. I'm not sure what flying monkey you want, but I got flying monkeys. If you want them, I got them, baby. Bottom of the 9th, 12-3 Mariners. Let's go. We're flying high about that monkey right there, baby. First pitch from Burgos to Zach McKinstry, low and away, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, takes a strike, swinging inside, 1 ball and 1 strike from Juan Burgos to Zach McKinstry. Yes, Apple TV Plus, 4K, you know, and again, they're the only, you know, broadcast crew that offers 4K cameras. You're not going to see it on Fox Sports or ESPN, Root Sports, or any other local, you know, channel or even big network. And that's why, you know, I do enjoy Apple TV Plus broadcasts. We don't get on them that often, a couple times a year. But also, too, I don't have to pay for my Apple TV Plus. I get Netflix and Apple TV Plus free with my T-Mobile account. So 1-2 pitch fouled off with the sinker. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Burgos to McKinstry. Let's go, Juan.
Oh my God.
2-2 pitch, and he gets hit by the pitch. Come on, Juan. You got to be better. McKinstry getting plunked there. Next up is Dylan Dingler. I mean, I don't really know. I think that, you know, for people to flip their vote from like Judge to Cal, if they're like Mariner haters or Cal haters or catcher haters, I think that once Cal gets to like, you know, 55 or 60 home runs, then at that point you may see people start to flip, you know, but he has to get to that number. And then especially if he gets to like 60 to 70, then you're going to get a lot of people flipping, you know, their vote or trying to go for a co-MVP, you know, but if he hits like, you know, 49 to 59, you know, like somewhere in that range, you know, he's still going to get some, but, you know, it seems like he's going to have to do some like Superman type shit, even though he's already doing that. You know, it's like, I don't know what those voters need to see. You know, do they need to see him hit fucking 70 or, you know, at least breaking Judge's record of 62 and if he gets 63 homers or more, would that do it? Maybe, you know, but right now he's pacing for an incredible number. Pitch is low and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Burgos to Sweeney. And you got to think the record is 48 in a full season, 162 games. 48 is the record. 48. And he's at 38, and it's not even the All-Star break. He could end up hitting a couple more. Like, you know, he could end up getting to 40. I mean, before the break, we got 2 games to go. I mean, it's not likely that he hits 2 home runs tomorrow and 2 home runs in game 3, but it's possible that he hits a homer in each game and possibly 2 in a game. Just saying. And that is ball 4. Next up is Parker Meadows. This guy right here, he's kind of good, baby. Cal Raleigh with a solo dinger to get it to 5-3 in the 8th, and then decides to go for a grand salami in the 9th. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. What a great leader. And again, he's the most valuable player on the team, and he has been the last few years, even prior to the torpedo bat and this monster season that he's having. You know, to be able to be a good defensive catcher, to be a leader, to make sure that everyone doesn't get depressed as a pitcher on the Mariners. Like, you know, this guy is doing more for his team, and that is supposed to be what an MVP is all about. You know, it's like Shohei Ohtani pitches and hits, you know, so even Shohei is doing a little bit more than Judge, but Judge is so good at hitting, batting average, home runs, RBIs, you know, batting average. But again, it's like, who's doing more, you know? And again, as great as Judge is, you know, Cal is doing a lot this year. Definitely deserves a look. And hopefully a lot of people will pay a little bit more attention to not only Cal Raleigh, but the Seattle Mariners moving forward. 0-2 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Burgos to Meadows. 12-0 Yankees on the Cubs. Unbelievable. Yankees staying hot. Well, we're up by 9. We're not going to blow the lead. Now, if we were only up 5-3, yeah, definitely there would be a little bit of worries right now. Like if Cal doesn't hit the grand salami and we're still at 5-3 after his first home run, yeah, I would be nervous right now. Bottom of the 9th, runners at first and second, no outs. We're only up by 2. Yeah, we could definitely lose. But when you're up by 9, you know, we're going to win this game. And I guarantee that that drunk fan that caught that Cal Raleigh home run ball and threw it back, he's going to be regretting it, because definitely there would be hundreds of fans that would pay $100 to $300 for that ball, maybe even more. One-two pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Parker Meadows. Yeah, but it's a catcher. No one expects a catcher to win a triple crown with home runs, hits, and ribbies. But again, if you're doing things that no catcher has done in the game ever, you have to understand you're like a typical fan if you're only looking at, just home runs or just, batting average or just RBIs. It's more than that. It's the full list of accomplishments, not just looking at the obvious. Most home runs by a primary catcher this season, 22, huh? Little dribbler, throw to first, second, throw to first, and got one. Judah in the building, what's good? Baez grounds out to the fielder's choice to third, Sweeney out at second. Next up is Colt Keith. First pitch from Burgos to Keith. Takes a big swing and a miss with the sweeper, 0-1 count. All right, we're at 90 likes. Let's see if we can get 10 more before the stream ends. That's a nice thing. We got, a wide variety of fans, fans that are 20 and under, lots of, people that are 30 to 40, and a lot of people that are 40 and up. So it's a nice wide variety of fans. I mean, hell, I know some people think I look young and whatnot, but I'm 43, so I've been watching since I was 3. So I've been in this for 40 years, even though I may look like I'm in my 20s or 30s. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and third and 2 outs. Burgos on the mound, Colt Keith in the box. And there it is. And Keith strikes out swinging. Final score, Seattle Mariners 12, Detroit Tigers 3, and the Seattle Mariners become the first team in 2025 to beat Skubal twice, at home and on the road, and it feels fucking excellent. And this guy right here, the MVP, Cal Raleigh. 2 dingers today, a solo dinger to get it to 5-3, and a grand salami. Final score, Seattle Mariners 12, Detroit Tigers 3. And when the Mariners win, what the fuck do? We fucking dance. Mariners win. Mariners win. Mariners win. Fuck yeah. This definitely makes up for the sweep against the Yankees, let me tell you. And this will carry the momentum for us tomorrow against Casey Mize, as well as game number 3. What a great team victory by the Seattle Mariners. And against Skubal for that matter, too. Let's go. Unfucking believable, baby. Monkey Kung Fu, $75 dono. Let's fucking go. Mariners win, baby. Let's see some fucking Jeff Nelson. Let's fucking go. Stacks. Racks. Jack. Bang, bang. Let's go, baby. Way to bring the electricity at the end. Monkey Kung Fu, my boy. Let's get some Jeff Nelson here. Hell yeah. Let's go. One shy of Barry Bonds, even though he cheated. And Cal's going to go down as not only one of the best Mariners of all time, he might go down as one of the best players of any generation to go down of all time. That's crazy. And you know who we'll be rooting for in the home run derby? We'll be rooting for Big Dumper Cal Raleigh. Let's go, baby. What a class act, you know. Cal Raleigh gives you everything that you want in a leader. You know, a guy that's not going to get in trouble off the field, you know, that is team first. And again, that does it all. Offense, defense, great leadership, good human being on and off the field. And that's someone that the Mariner organization and the fan base can get behind forever. Facts.
Is that what dreams are made of? Because we showed the video of you when you were younger, screaming you were going to be the home run derby champ.
Yeah, I love our talking back there. Yeah, 20 years ago, I was 7, 8 years old, and in the backyard, they can't home runs for the house. So it's you know, it's a dream come true. So it'll be fun.
Dream coming to fruition. Cal Raleigh, we appreciate the time. Back to you.
All right, Trisha. It is a dream come true, a dream season. No doubt. Cal Raleigh putting on a show once again. His 8th multi-homer game of the season. 12-3 the final here in Detroit.
The back tap on tap. Good mojo. AI from Google Cloud Notes. 25
Man, unbelievable win. Let's go, baby. Absolutely. You know, and again, a lot of these guys that broke records, you know, are going to be guys that didn't do steroids. Ken Griffey Jr. and Cal. Everyone else, you know, is, you know, cheating to a certain degree. So that's what makes it so sweet. I appreciate that. Great job helping out as well. Appreciate you. God, these Jeff Nelson photos and cards are giving me a fucking throwback. The Mother's Cookies cards. Oh my God. Yeah, that's giving me some memories right there. Wow. Appreciate you. Anything else that you want to be able to see? We're at 95 likes. Let's see if we can get 5 more before the stream ends. I imagine there'll be a few people on their way out that'll hit that like button or after the stream ends completely. Cal Raleigh doing Cal Raleigh things. Unbelievable. Obviously, we'll do a few Cal Raleigh photos. I mean, I don't know if I've been this excited watching, you know, a player on the Mariners, you know, in a while. I mean, obviously, since we had Ichiro, you know, where it was like must-see TV, you know, obviously, you know, growing up as a little kid watching Ken Griffey Jr. and Edgar Martinez and Randy Johnson, you know, was insane, you know, and then to be able to go to Ichiro, that was awesome. And then now we're in the Cal Raleigh era, and it just leaves me speechless, like, you know, what we're seeing. Yeah, I mean, he's going to break so many records. Salvador Perez, 48 home runs, going to beat that. Mickey Mantle, most homers by switch hitter, 54, he's going to beat that. Like, literally, he's going to break every fucking catching record, you know, almost this year, which is insane. Yeah, definitely the hardest position on the field to play, 100%. But again, I think some baseball fans don't recognize that, you know. It's like, you know, a lot of NFL fans, you know, think it's only about the quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. And real fans understand that you got to have an O-line. You got to have a defense. You got to have, you know, a good special teams, a good coach, a good play caller, and, you know, a very underappreciated position, the catcher. But we appreciate our very own Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh.
The lowest strike percentage he had this season.
Big Dumper before he was Big Dumper, when he was Little Dumper on Florida State, when no one even knew who he was. Way to be, Cal. You the man. I mean, there's a good chance that he breaks Judge's record in 2022 and gets 62 home runs. 62 home runs from a catcher? Unreal. I mean, it's one thing when you're hitting like one home run in a game and it's exciting, but, you know, to be able to hit like multiple home runs and to be able to do it often, and you're going to end up breaking the record for multi-homer games, like, and it's not even catchers, it's about anybody from any position, even outfielders. Insane. Yeah, I had to do my digging, baby. Oh my, look at Cal. I wish I would have watched Florida State baseball, you know, back then, you know, to see like his development and his progression. That one staying on the stream.
Oh my God.
All right, along the first half of the season,
We're flying high, baby. We're flying high.
Our thanks to our ace researcher and holds a keeping us on task. Thank you for watching. We'll see you.
Let's go, baby. Unbelievable. Anything else I can do photo-wise for the people that donated? Let me know. Monkey Kung Fu, anything else you want to be able to see? What a great win. One of the best wins of the year, especially how things went down with the Yankees and getting swept. So, well, I love you guys and I appreciate you guys very much. Sarah, Megan, Reflect, Charles, Reflect, Monkey Kung Fu, as well as Flying Monk and Barb as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys more than you know. And again, I can throw up some more photos, obviously, as we get in it tomorrow as well. We got 2 early starts. Obviously, we got games on. Let's see the timing of the games. I believe both of them are going to be on at like 10 a.m. So we got a Saturday morning game at 10 a.m. on MLB Network, which is going to be Casey Mize versus George Kirby. Let's go, George. And on Sunday, we play at 10:40 a.m., and that's going to be Logan Gilbert versus Flaherty. So I like our chances, not only tomorrow against Casey Mize, but with Logan Gilbert as well.
Oh my God.
Flying Monk loves the toe thumbs. Just for you, my guy. Just for you. Mariners win. Toe thumb. I got you. No, we don't want to leave me on 99. We got to get to a hundo, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We only need a couple more to hit a hundo, and hopefully we'll be able to get that after the stream ends once it goes on social media and whatnot. But love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very much. Final score, Seattle Mariners 12, Tigers 3. Shout out to all the people that like, sub, donated, commented, shared. Sarah, Megan, Reflect, Charles, Reflect, Monkey Kung Fu with a big $75 dono at the very, very end. Shout out to Flying Monk and Barb as well, helping out on the Cash App. That will always help out as well. Paying the bills and taking care of my pup. And again, it felt really, really good to get this dub. And I will be live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Obviously for the early matchup with George Kirby, and 10:40 on Sunday. You guys enjoy the rest of your Friday night. You know I will. And I got one question for you. Who you know talks sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Trident's up. This is the man, Cal Raleigh, Big Dumper. He does it again. Go M's.